Ladies and gentlemen, I hope I'm streaming and you can hear me and my lips are moving in sync. I'm going to have to check the chat. Hello, people. How's it going? There he is. Is he moving in sync this time? Because last time I was really out. I was really on a lag. I don't want to have to restart the stream. I'm hoping that my lips sync up this time. Please tell me in the comments if they do. All good, excellent, welcome. Oh, one and all, there's a load of my friends in here, load of people who I love in here. Oh, look at this, it's a nice amount of people coming and saying hello. Of course, before I wasn't live streaming last year because, you know, I'm not sure how many people I would have drawn in, to be perfectly honest. I was very censored, and then everything started to change at the beginning of this year. So, Dragos, you've been around with me, and I love you. If only you know, back again. If only you K, back again. And Susan, hello, Susan Appley. How are you? And remember to bring Andrew's full involvement. Ooh, he's a naughty boy. British Overseas, head of the British Overseas Trade Board, dealing in weapons was Andrew. That's why a gun smuggling paedophile like Jeffrey Epstein loved hanging around with him. Oh, I just ruined my monetization on YouTube by saying the P word. Oh no! Oh, I'm not allowed to say certain things. Dragos sends a love, the hearts. Andrew's involvement is hashed over the death. Yep. Let's see. Ellen, you're in the house. We'll go through some of this in a little bit. Antarctic Monkey, hello. Ellen, you're always there for me. Thank you. Nevermore, yo. Whoa, you made it on time. I can't believe I made it on time, to be honest. I think I'm a little bit late, a couple of minutes. You know how it goes. Mercurius is in the house too. Awesome. Abe, who I've met through the X spaces, really. So I've talked to on a couple of occasions now. He's here. I super record doing a welt on Welton 3D. Yeah, you were plugging that to me the other day. I wasn't sure what it is. I don't always open sites. If someone sends me a website and they don't tell me what it actually does, I don't automatically click on it because there's lots of people who want things on my computer. Hello, one and all. How are you? My name's Johnny Vedmore, and I do some research about the dark, dirty world of intelligence. And we're here on what should be a more regular occurrence, which is lives, where you can, of course, chat to me. I love you chatting to me. Most of the people who interact with me know that I'm also interactive, not only on lives, I'm interactive all over the place. If you DM me or message me, I get back to you because I'm a human. At the moment, I mean, maybe one day my whole world will blow up and everybody will be messaging me all of the time. Well, I'd like to be able to work out who I can trust, and from that is the people that I get to know really about now. So all of the people that I've been getting to know over the past few years are definitely on my list of keepers. Okay, what's that? What's my hair's trapped in there? I was wondering what that was. Right, give me a second. I don't even know why I got these on. I don't think I need them. Just to hear the own song. Right. Gang. So I tried to decide what to do today, and I'm going to have to do some moving things around and other stuff on my own screen while I explain. Because as well as that, I'm only just getting used to using this StreamYard, and normally I was using Zoom, but of course, if I want to do the lives, then I've got to get onto this or another one. I don't know if anybody knows anything better than StreamYard. If you do, tell me. I know some other people use free platforms that seem like a pain in the ass. Now, what we are going to do today is look through some of the documentation and some of the evidence of the Epstein case. I realized something when the drops were happening. People have a very limited knowledge of what was really happening with Jeffrey Epstein. And so I'm gonna organize some pages over here, which I had already organized, but decided all to close themselves because that's what it does. And we're gonna have a look at some of the things, including things like flight logs as well. Flight logs and the unredacted address book. Yes, we're going to look at the unredacted. Let's risk the biscuits and let's go unredacted, shall we? Because if we can look at the redacted address book, let me see the capabilities of StreamYard. Just before I continue, let's have a little look more. Smoking JS is in the house, and Ola Falafel is here too. That's a good name. Andrew from Canada says howdy, and Ian, my neighbor doesn't think the royal family is involved. He wouldn't even look into it. Of course they won't look into it. They can't. If they look into it, then they'll find out that everything they've believed is wrong. That's the way it works. Everything you believe is wrong, and you just gotta come to terms with it sometimes. And right, I'm gonna just like I say, just opening up a couple of things here. It's listen, I'm a professional explainer, and I find it almost impossible. You know, I've gone so many times. I've argued with people in the park about it. You can't reach the people who aren't willing to listen or aren't willing to care. You just can't do it. So if they're not willing to research for themselves, and that says who they are, it says they're stuck in a bubble of, I'm going to get given the news and told what I have to believe. And sometimes you do have to let those people go. I know it sounds sad that you have to let those people go, but sometimes you have to say they're not ready to understand what's going on. They're not even willing to take a cursory glance. So you don't get obsessed with that, because that's the thing that we get obsessed with. I spent lots of time arguing with people. When I wrote the first of the Epstein pieces that I wrote, the Younkerman piece, a year before, I was with members of my previous band, Bomb Alaska, and I was talking with them, and I said to them, hey, this woman is amazing. I discovered this Nicole Younkerman, and she's like Mossad, and she's in Panama Papers, and she's in the FIFA corruption, and all of these different things, and it's just amazing. And she's like in an intelligence agency with Ehud Barak and Pinchas Bukras, and basically they were just like, not only could they not understand the relevance of it, of course, because they don't understand the context, but they really didn't want to see that someone can understand something that they couldn't. So I'm not meaning to insult them, but it was very much that situation. It was like I had researched this, gone into it. I said to them, "Oh my God, look at all of this detail. Look at all of it. Look at all of it." And they were like, "It means nothing. If it meant something, someone else would have found it already." That was what it was. If it meant something, it wouldn't be you who would be coming out with it, because someone else would have found it. And that's the kind of mentality that comes around. As long as we don't look at it, and as long as there's no one else coming out to find it, then we can stay in our bubble. And our bubble's a peaceful place. So don't worry about your neighbor. Ian, don't worry. It's life. Hello, Kelly. Kelly Pierce saying hello. Hello, Johnny. That's me. It's third mind mapping. Hello, everyone. First time here, so glad to find you. Cheryl Lynn, hello, welcome. I saw you yesterday, and you were very lovely. And welcome. You'll find a lot of very nice people here. Antarctic Monkey, 1111. Are we quoting Bible? Is that Bible quotes now, or is it a timestamp? What are we doing? Who knows? I see you streaming on X too. I'm streaming everywhere. I'm on X, I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, all of the crap. All of the metaverse, that's it. All of the evildoers know that I'm talking about them. Damn, I want to get to Alaska. Alaska. I don't know. It's too cold in Britain right now to think of Alaska. I'd prefer to be going to Jamaica. Where I'd like to say @_Jamaica Witch, who made the graphics for this live. She's doing done a load of graphics for me really kindly out of the kindness of her heart, and I appreciate it. Thank you. Denial so sad. Hey, Neckbeard Prime. There's a guy who also I mean some of you I've met through Spaces, which has been a real eye opener that we've been able to like meet new people and people who may have come across my work before. But Zamatoshi is another one. Sup, Johnny? Great stuff, brother. I love you, man. Love you. It's been really nice to have these people in my life. Really nice. Victoria Bird. Oh, I always like a name, someone with the last name Bird. I have friends that blatantly say, if it doesn't directly affect you, then ignore it. Yeah, that sounds about right. Lots of love. All right, everyone, lots of love. Let's see if I can work out some of these bloody settings on this thing. Constantly trying to learn how to use new platforms. Present. I think it would be that. So let's share screen. Select a window or screen. Okay. Right, so you can hear me talking to myself and looking confused as I go through this. Yes, this is my life. Okay, allow. Bum, 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 bum. So we're on a PDF. Do you see this PDF? I see this PDF in front of me. Let's try and make it so it's manageable. And that I can see the chat still. Oh, well, it's hard to see. I should have brought my glasses. People must wonder why I don't wear my glasses. Well, oh, my glasses are broken all over the place. I've only got one set left, and I hate them. I hate them, and they don't work very well. Oh man, my life in glasses. Anyway, one day I'll be able to afford glasses. We're looking at Exhibit MM. Let's start here, shall we? And this we're viewing on a PDF, and this is the This is one of the places where a lot of people who've done research understand what we're looking at here for Epstein. This is a Lolita Express flight manifest. It's very weirdly, if you look at the top, it starts in 2002 time, like these things, and then it goes back. Eventually, it returns probably 2001. It kind of goes back in time, and then flips back to 98 at some point. So it's not in order. The pages aren't necessarily in order. And this was the first flight manifest that got released years ago. This was a brilliant piece of evidence for people. Now, for people who haven't seen the flight manifest before, which I'm positive you've all seen parts of it, and so I hope I'm not like preaching to the choir or making it uninteresting. But you've got like here, 1999, April, so you've got the dates down here, then May down here. You've got the aircraft identification. You've got the airport that they left from, the airport they arrived to. You've got the flight numbers of them, and you've got the people on the flight. That's really important. You've got a couple other little bits of information. I've never ever even bothered looking at this. Maybe there is actually something to find in all of these numbers, but I don't really know because I haven't really checked what it all means. I've just gone to the main bits. And when people are talking about lists, when people love talking about lists, you've heard them. Oh, what about the Epstein client list? Well, really, there's a load of lists that already are there, but they're all mixed up. So you've got a list of names here. JE, of course, is Jeffrey Epstein. GM, of course, is Ghislaine Maxwell. Oh, can we work out who everybody is? Who's ET? Oh, okay, I'll work it out in a little bit. It'll come to me. Alan Dershowitz, of course. Tiffany Gramza, Daniel Hillier. You know, some of these hard to read the name. Claire Hazel, she's an interesting one. Lady Ivy nowadays. She married into one of the big royal families. She was actually, Claire Hazel was with these guys in the mid-90s. She went to university in America. Here you go, Jeffrey Epstein, Sarah Cannon. That's basically what Sarah Cannon feels like in this entire story. It's like everybody talks to her like Sarah Cannon. She does everything. She's the one who did everything. Go back to the chat for a bit just to check I haven't miss because it's moving fast. Great to see you still at it. It's lovely, Zama. Paul, great to see you on here. I'm glad to be all over the place now. Oh, right. Wait a minute. Let's go back. Oh. I'm surrounded by ostriches, is what Ellen is replying to when she says, "Oh, Sherilyn, that's horrible." I see head in the sand. Ah, that's what you mean. I thought you literally were surrounded by ostriches for a second. OPSEC, how do you protect yourself from bad actors and manipulators throughout the social media landscape that have ulterior motives? How do you know or critically assess what you're ingesting is legit? Indeed, that's a hard one, Neckbeard Prime. It's a good question as well. I have a karmic flow approach to what I do. So I believe that if I just give everybody a chance, it's very quickly, if I'm positive, that I start to notice negatives. So I'm a really positive, empathic person. I really believe in getting to be really, honest with someone, really nice with someone, even if I don't necessarily like them. Try and bypass the arguments. And with that, you kind of learn people, and you learn what to see and what language they use, and language is really important. One of the thing about studying witness statements, I studied witness statements for quite a while, and you start to look at words, and you start to then study psychological linguistics. And there's some really, Richard D. Hall of Rich Planet, he had a witness statement linguistics expert come on and analyze some of the stuff, some of the evidence from a news report or a documentary about the what was it? It was the murder of Joe Cox. And that was really interesting, And you start to notice certain patterns in behavior, but you also how do you know unless you give people a chance? Now, some people come to me when I was on some of the big spaces. There was one guy who came to me afterwards who was came on one of the spaces, and he was really he seemed detached. He spoke in one tone, and he was like, "Hi, I got all the information, and all you have to do is download all of this information from me. I'm sending you all of this information now. So if you want all of the information in this, I've made the best information around. So you download whatever you want." And that's already done, isn't it? Is you downloaded it, and then you open something, and suddenly bad actors galore are around there. So you don't know who people are. You got to take them with a pinch of salt. But I mean, with the media landscape, I've investigated a load of people on the mainstream media and gone, "Oh, they're horrible." I've investigated loads of people on the independent media because I don't understand who they're working for. Done that recently, and I've discovered some awful things, awful, terrible things. Everybody is looking for the. I know what it's like. I'm skint, yeah. I got no money. I'm doing journalism and stuff. If someone came along and said, "Oh, I could offer you money," then it's always going to come along with something attached to it. So the people who have been able to advertise their platform and get big usually have had a little bit of that come their way. And then who knows who they are? Who knows which side they're on? They're just on a side, and you'll never truly find out. Well, some of them are all on the same side. I have dollar store glasses. I know I have dollar store glasses, but I can't afford any at the moment. Cold as witches here, 23 degrees. I don't know what that means in British. Don't know what that means in Celsius. Take it. If it was 23 degrees over here in Celsius, we'd all be happy. But it's definitely not. I got my tootsies are freezing. Yeah, if they post pro-Trump shit, it happens. Will you do another show on the WEF? Yeah, the one last year was hilarious with their whiteboard drawings. I know. Okay, I'd love to do more shows on the WEF there. CC Sinbia, or however you like to call yourself. I will. I promise. Halsey 0815. If its arms broke, slide some fish tank tubing on them and shrink it with with a lighter. If its arms broke, slide some fish tank. Wow, I don't know what you're talking about there, but yes, all right. Is it something that I've said? Right. Or are you a pro systematic content already? Yes. Right. I am trying to see this. Southwest Ohio. That's where Wexner and Pottinger from both Ohio. Ohio is a very interesting place in actual fact, because it's a center of America, really, isn't it? Zamatoshi, please open an NN recorded after party space later. Maybe we'll do. Switching you to YouTube. Okay. Research possible. Good answer is hard. Yeah. You did so well in logic last night. That was hard. It was a lot. I got a feeling that he wanted me to. He kept asking me questions about starting in the beginning. But he asked me the question about the middle, and you have to have the context. So I'd have to go back, and he wanted so much information. I know a lot of his audience were a bit pro-Zionist as well. So I'm not saying that that they were all pro-Zionist or whatnot, but I know that a couple of people said that to me. There you go. Jamaica Witch saying flights are one thing, but how do we get our hands on the submarine log for Terramar? Completely Jamaica Witch, who did the actual cover for this artwork for this show. Yeah, I'd love a submarine log. There's lots of things that were going on Little St. James, though, because which Alex Jones was when he was talking about, he was expert. He's like, yeah, Little St. John's Island. It's like, yeah, well, Little St. John, you're on a different island, mate. But hey, they got a submarine, they can get around. And when I was doing those X spaces as well, they put out a tweet trying to debunk the Disney trips to St. James's Island. But Disney Cruises went to Little St. James's Island, Epstein's Island, and they were scuba diving in and around it. So I don't think they ever went on the island. They just came off the ship and scuba dived, but they still on the island. So I reckon, yeah, lots of dodgy things with Terramar, making a new world for all of the Bond villains who get to live under the sea in their super city. Oh my god, they're just so funny. Jagos, all airport codes can be looked up, on the IATA website. Yeah, there's two different types of airport code. They use one specific. Some don't add up. Make of that what you will. Some of that might be the separate codes, and some of it might be messing around. Stylometric and body language analysis mitigates a lot of guff and bad actors. And yeah, completely, man. Just you can start. Got to stop being naive, haven't we? That's what we got to do. Keen to hear your analysis, but it'd be good to hear the process of how you ended up doing what you're doing right now. I know. I will one point. I love Johnny, even if he pronounces glasses with an R glass. You stop it now. Come on, I'm Welsh. Mario now Fall has the biggest spaces. He is on the wrong side. Of course. If you're on the big spaces, you've got to. I wanted to see. I tested them out from the beginning. When I went out there on the big space, they asked me questions as soon as I got on there, and I basically gave them answers that I didn't think they'd want to know to see how quickly they'd boot me, and they ended up making me central to it. That was extremely suspicious. Meaning the glasses. Oh, right. Okay. Yes, you break the arm of the glasses. I tell you what, Halsey, you could have helped me out when I kept my other glasses, but the arms are all dead. They're all my glasses. I just got one set left. I do not care for Marion Alcohol. He's blind to the truth. True. Sheldon, a great giant grifter. Oh, they don't like Mario now while in this. We'll get back to the Epstein sheet now. Do you think Epstein was smuggled out of prison, or is he really dead? Dead as a doornail. No reason to keep him alive afterwards. He was just too much. He was more trouble than he was worth, for sure. Mind Mine tends to break when the screws go at the hinges. Indeed. Eric Prince, formerly of Blackwater, partnered up with former 8,200 members to make secure phones, guys. It's true. Hey, if people don't understand that lingo, 8,200 members, they're the cyber security force for Israel's intelligence. So Unit 8,200 do a lot of that. Thank you, Chromite, for your what you're saying there. Let's get back. I want to get back. I want to, even though I love talking to you guys, I do want to get onto the evidence. I want to get onto the evidence. I want to understand. So a good way to understand is by getting to maybe, what's this, 2001. We're in 2001 here. Is it? Is maybe getting to 2002. Let's see. The problem is with some of these is they're not searchable, of course. So, and they're not in order, like I say. So you end up with 2002 there at the beginning rather than the end. 2002 February, March. Oh, do you remember February and March 2002? I don't. I think I was high. I would have probably been. It was heady days for sure back then. I was only 22. Don't blame me. Don't blame me. I was a bad boy. This is what I want to get to. This is a good place to start off. Let me show you. I'll make it a little bit bigger here or zoom out a little bit. But you see this top one here. This Nicole Junkermann. Yeah. Yes, that's where I entered into it. I entered into it by discovering that, as you see, you look at all of these. Jeffrey Epstein and one female. That's interesting as well. That's interesting. But if they don't have a name there, you don't know what the female may be. Maybe Sarah Kellen, maybe Cindy Lopez. Look, here you've got, so, oh, this is so exciting. I love this. I love this. This is investigating, because every time you look at this, you see something different because you concentrate on a certain thing. So let's look at an example of these flight logs and how people make sense of them. The 21st of August down to about the 9th of September. Let's look at that period. And I wanted to do this because I want to help you understand a couple of things, is how people get a lot of these names. Is from things like this. Look at this. Let's see if we can zoom in here. Yes, we can. Bop, bop, bop. Right. Here, this flight. So before they come to Britain in the 16th of August, they're actually having a bit of a party time. You see Virginia Roberts is on with Cindy Lopez, Dan Moran, Eduardo, Alfred, Margarita, and Nick Simmons were all on the plane. And they flew to TEB, which I think is Tetborough or something, isn't it? Well, and that's obviously Palm Beach International there. So they're flying back to Albrilla Way here. Virginia Roberts and one female. Now look at this. Jeffrey Epstein used to fly with someone from his entourage nearly every single time. So here he's with Virginia Roberts. Here he's with Ghislaine Maxwell, Sarah Kellen, Cindy Lopez, Virginia Roberts, and others. Here he's with Sarah Kellen, Shelley Lewis. It's very rare that he just flies with someone else. It's always Cindy Kellen, one of the girls, Jean-Luc Brunel, Shelley Lewis, Bill Clinton, Jim Kennedy, Doug Band, all of the big names there. And so and same as above. This here is his trip around Africa. Is it Africa or Asia, that trip? Well, no, I think that's it's Chris Tucker's on it. So that's his trip around Africa with Bill Clinton. So you see why I chose this part of the flight manifest, because it's extremely busy. It's extremely busy. This is a good place to kind of like, this is where people are getting the evidence. They're able to write down all of these names, and this is what makes up the supposed client list. This is what makes them up. You have to define which ones were his employees, which ones were his friends, and which ones are his clients. And the friends, employees, and clients, there's somewhere in the middle where a couple of those are merging round. But as you see, entourage, 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 you go down, same as above, same as above. JE, Sarah Kellen, GM. There you've got Mark Potter, PPE. I'm not sure. I think that might have been someone being brought to him or an inspection of the plane. Because look, see, it's it goes from Palm Beach and lands in Palm Beach, so that is something else. But nearly every single time, he's always on the plane with Ghislaine Maxwell or Sarah Kellen, or all of the way down. We know this, so that's what we look for when we're looking for things that he's done that aren't normal. When he flew with Nicole Youngkerman and he's gone for 3 days, none of his girls are there. This is a guy who has to have 2.5 massages a day. And when I say massages, I mean frumpy, sexy massages. I'm not just talking about any old massage. I'm talking about a topless, what we call in the UK, a topless one-hand shandy. That's what we call it in the UK. Shandy, of course, is a mix of beer and lemonade, if that's a thing just for us. But this is basically how people were have found out a lot of the names and followed him around. And if you watch, like, for instance, Ian Carroll, when we were on the Spaces, was going through some of these flight manifests. And yeah, very interesting what you can find, because you know, like, again, there's President Bill Clinton, Doug Ban. Now this is a China trip. Here is the Asian trip. I say China trip. This is the Asian trip. If Bill Clinton's on there, the reason why I know this is the Asian trip with Bill Clinton, because of this. Now this is really interesting. Missed out by nearly every single person. There's barely a report of this. May 2002, they go around Asia, and he goes around, he meets Clinton in Japan. So RJTA there is the Japanese naval airport that they leave from. And here we go. This is really important. And I think, if I'm right, it's either VHHH or ZGSZ is China. Look at this. Look at this. It's really interesting. Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, Sarah Kellen, President Bill Clinton, Pete Rathgeb, and Six Packs. I think he's like Doug Band. He's one of the assistants of something. Mike is written down there. No, sorry, that's not Mike. That's MCXG. That's what it's been worked out of, and it's believed it might be the guy who a month before got arrested. That Jeffrey Epstein got arrested in China. I can't remember what his name is. It's in one of the Epstein 101 articles. He's a Chinese billionaire who's got the same MO as Epstein. But look at this. Look at this. They're traveling around Asia, and they've got Janice and Jessica. No mention of where they come or where they go. It says same as above throughout the rest of the trip. These people traveled everywhere with them, apparently including Janice and Jessica, but there's no mention of Janice and Jessica, these two girls, at the end of it. The 6 packs, so 6 extra. Was that Secret Service? It doesn't specifically state Secret Service were on board with former President Clinton. VHHH is Hong Kong. Awesome. Okay, so they go to Hong Kong. Can you check? Can someone check what VGSZ is? I think that might be China. MCKG. That's what it looked like to me. But there's been lots of people who have suggested that this is the guy who owns XG, which is a big company in China. And his initials match up. That's what people think it may be. Let me actually remember what his name is. It's not going to take me too long to work it out. Epstein, influence and collusion. That's got to be the one. Bill Clinton. Yeah. And here we go. So Wang Zhenhu, who's the let me see. Let me read you a little bit of Epstein 101, Influence and Collusion. You can read on NEWSPASTE. I'll just read a little bit. There have been some reports investigating this mysterious Asian trip, but due to the flight logs being in some part poorly written and sometimes illegible, it isn't always possible to be sure whose initials such as MCXG might refer to. This mysterious character was reported in 2019 as being Wang Zhenhu of XG Co. Ltd, described in the TORE article as an older sub of Future Land Holdings, with the same article also claiming that the girls listed as only Jessica and Janice were two specifically curated females aged 13 to 14 that MCXG bought. Whether these initials did stand for Wang Zhenhua is not clear, but the Chinese billionaire was in fact heading towards the same fate as Jeffrey Epstein. The Chinese businessman was arrested on charges of child molestation less than a week before Epstein was apprehended on the 6th of July 2019. Shanghai police detained the 57-year-old, who was only identified by the surname Wang, for, sorry about that, but there's a pun in there somewhere, so it's not hard to see, for alleged child molestation in a Shanghai hotel. Police confirmed at 9 p.m. on July the 3rd, Shanghai police issued a briefing on its official Weibo account. It was soon confirmed by Chinese state media that Wang Zhenhu, the de facto controller of Seizhan Holdings, is suspected of molesting a girl. Zhenhu was later given a 5-year jail sentence for child molestation. So that's what TORE reported. I know Wang. It's terrible. VTBT is Thailand, Brunei. Yep, Shenzhen in China. Really dodgy because, right, okay. So basically, really dodgy. They fly with former President Clinton. He's Jeffrey Epstein's been smuggling weapons and weapons technology for years, and they fly into China and have a secret meeting with a couple of underage girls and someone who seems to be a big rich billionaire with and stuff. It looks suspiciously like they were maybe getting involved in some sort of business, because all of this was business. Remember, when they met in Singapore, they met with all of those businessmen around the table. When they went to Japan, he was meeting at military bases, and Clinton was receiving a military award as well. So this is all very, I mean, these flight manifests are just a trove of information. So let's have a little game. Listen, hey gang. I'm glad to see there's so many people who are Dragos. Thank you very much for going through those. I like to see the reaction of Wang and how much that causes. Yeah. WRRR does not return any results. Some of these are military bases. I have worked out where all of these go, but some of these are military bases, and some of them I'm not sure if they use a different code when they land in, or they accidentally spelt the code wrong. I have gone through each one of these in Influence and Collusion episode of Epstein 101. So you can see the exact journey and where they stopped at each step of the way. And that was part of the research for One Nation Under Blackmail when I was looking through to that. Now, oh, gang, we're going to do something that is a little bit, because we got the flight manifest in multiple ways here. So let's zoom into this version. Oh, God, can you please stop telling me things? You see, they got it in many versions. So this is actual. This is a version of someone else. Now, I don't use this version for a reason. Sorry to whoever's done it. They've done a really very good job. And they sorted out the Epstein manifest in a way that's easier to read, and with the names misspelt all the way through. They've spelt it as closely as they can, but then you can't go back to check what you think it is. So as you see, Stacey Uglakaseng gets on the plane, and I'm not sure there's such a person. Fleur Perry-Lang, so that's Adam Perry-Lang's wife, I would suppose, and that AP must be Adam Perry-Lang there. So some of this, even though it's well-intentioned, this sort of flight manifest, it ends up misspelling certain people. There's Nicole Youngman now. Look, there she is. There's my girl, Nicole. You know I love you. You know I love you, Nicole. You're so tall and you're a countess. Well done. So there you go. There's Laura Haynes. P. Fraff Geb comes up again. Jean-Luc Brunel. Oh, one of the things I was going to say about that Nicole Youngman trip as well was Nicole goes on this. That's when she's on with Sean Koo. Let me go to the next thing we're going to. Risky. You see how risky this biscuits are? We're looking at the unredacted one, people. Look. Let's go to the top. Unredacted. Yeah, people will sell you the redacted version of this all day long. But this is the unredacted Jeffrey Epstein telephone book. A little bit dangerous in a sense. If you don't want to phone any of these people up, they're probably still using the same phone number. But this is from 2004, 2005. PB would, I believe, mean Palm Beach Police when they raided the house. The proper raids happened in 2005, I think, maybe late 2004. It was something, but his arrest happened in 2005. His proper arrest. They tried to charge him with something before, but there was like backwards and forwards. Within like the 2004 period. But one thing that's interesting about the flight with Nicole Youngman is just afterwards, they go back to Paris, and then he meets with Jean-Luc Brunel, and then they go from Paris to Newfoundland and back home, I believe. And that Newfoundland route, the Stephenville route, up to a military base up there, seems like you meet people smuggler, you smuggle the people, and then you go back home, which is what shows on the flight manifest. That happened on a few occasions, so that'd be interesting. So here we go. This is the other one. Prescient to remember. Let's just listen to this. Good, but not great. They were all over Johnny. It's indescribable how creepy he is. Yeah. Asian girls on Jeffrey Epstein's plane. That sounds like a terrible song with a sad ending. It's prescient to remember that many talk about this in the past tense. This isn't an exception. This is an ongoing right now. Yeah, with shady characters we are yet and probably never to hear of. Indeed, this is repeated over and over and over again. Is Kiev on there? Now, here we go. Okay, hello, Paula de Boer. How are you? I hope you are fine. I hope I haven't missed out any new arrivals here. I'm not sure how many people are in, and I'm having to flick around and have a look on the actual screen and look back. So I hope I haven't missed anyone out. And on the other platforms as well, I hope you can hear me fine and everything's going well. So this is the other way that we find the Epstein list. This is the lists you have to make yourself, and most of this is in alphabetical order. So firstly, we can actually find out whether someone in particular is on here. Do you want to know who's on here? I went through loads of these names, loads of them. At one point, I actually went through each one of these names one by one, like this, and we discovered all a whole array of people. A lot of designers. Having swanky houses that are poorly designed mean you need a load of poor designers. So we could take this many ways. Either you can say, hey, is so-and-so on there? Hey, Paul Hoffman, how's it going? Is so-and-so on there? And we can have a look and a little goosey gander, but I can also take you through some of the more interesting people that I came across who as we go through. Now, anybody has any type of suggestion, do so. But one thing that people tend to say, and I've had arguments with, but it's always, when they start arguing this, I know that they're going to block me. It's just the way it is. And I'm not on their side. They just made a mistake. They come to here, they download it, they come to here, and they get to Trump, and they say, oh, look, there's Blaine Robert Trump, there's Ivana Trump, and there's Ivanka Trump. And there's Robert and Blaine Trump. Look, there's no Donald Trump. And they all like do a little dance, and then they close it, and they don't go further down to find there's actually another section which is more related to New York or business. And yo, gotta get down there, and there you go. They don't go down the way to find that Donald Trump is all here as well. But it doesn't mean anything. The circling doesn't necessarily mean anything, but it's extremely interesting. It may have been the housekeeper who partly circled some of these things. The housekeeper, I can never remember his name. He's Eduardo, Orlando. Well, anyway, I can't. I'm not going to be able to remember his name. He was one of the ones who was there when they raided the house, so I think they got him to circle some of the stuff in the book of important people who he had seen around with Jeffrey Epstein at some point. Heard Brunel specialized in Slavic teens. Yes, he did. But that's because that's where the easiest place to traffic young girls was at that point. That was common, man, not in high society. I mean, if you look at Nadia Marcinko, as she's now known, previously Marcinkova, she was the one who was the sex slave who was bought from former Yugoslavian country, underage, and had not known anything different. Can you imagine who are you going to run to? Who are you going to run to? If that's your life, who are you going to run to? Who's going to save you? Who's going to help you? It's a hard thing to wonder how, if you're a sex slave, how you end up how you get out of this. And that's what they were kept as. Any entertainers would be interesting to dive into. Yes, they would. So I don't know how you want to take this. Let's have a look at some of these circled names. So Larry Vysotsky. Okay, anybody? Here we go. Juan Alessi. Oh, I knew it was an Asian, a South American name. And look at me. I said Eduardo and etc. like a racist. Oh God, I feel bad. But thank you, Zamatoshi. It was Juan Alessi. He's a really interesting guy. He's the one who fingered Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has been around there at Palm Beach home a lot as well. Have you tied Epstein to Keith Raniere, the sex cult near Albany, New York, called NXIVM? Seems Senator Gillibrand is connected too. Well, it'd be interesting if Senator Gillibrand is also connected. No, I haven't. Partly because when NXIVM happened, it was such a I was so concentrated on the Epstein stuff. It was such a similar thing that I didn't want to kind of cross over to that. And other people did a really good job of covering it. And I think that's something that still we have to fully understand. I'd be interested in looking into it, but God, I got a full plate. Seems to me like there was a YouTuber worked security guard years ago in China who blew whistle on that Chinese guy, but my memory so it could have been different Chinese guy. Yeah, I bet Bono was a passenger. Maybe, yeah, very possibly. So, does anybody know? Can anybody tell me? And this is something. Okay, before I do this, listen, gang. I want to do a quiz show on Spaces, a conspiracy quiz show on Spaces. Do you think that is a good idea? Live, you can win prizes. Already got prizes ready. They'll be branded, fantastic, worth a little bit of money. NFTs ready to give away or whatnot, if people actually want that crap. And if they don't, then they just did it for the competitive ability, and to have some form of maybe eventual tournament or etc. I think that would be a fantastic idea. So I'm thinking about becoming a quiz master for conspiracy quiz on Spaces. So if you like the idea of that would be fun. Now, full competitive ability. Well, it don't matter. If you want to win a prize, you can win a prize. It's not going to hurt anybody, because I got a load of prizes to give away. Mainly Garbage Pail Kid NFTs and Monsters of Rap NFT, with a few Princess Bride NFTs. So they're proper, actual branded stuff. But that's if people would want them. It'll bring some people in. Other people won't want that crap. I don't even want that crap, really. It's just like spread your investment across the place, and later on go, well, I can't sell it, so I may as well give it away. And if I was to do a quiz, then it would be fun. A meal pint with your good self would be ultimate prize. Oh, well, it's that hard to do when we're working on a global scale on the internet. I'll turn up in your house. Where do you live? Alaska. Fuck. Oh. Yeah, but yes. I tell you, anybody here, if you're ever in Cardiff and you're not George Webb, get in contact with me. We'll meet up and have a drinky poos. I've met quite a few people who follow my work, and then I've gone met them. Some of the people online, I don't like to be just an online person. I'm like, oh, where are you based? Oh, so and so. Ed the Techie's like that. Ed the Techie does fantastic memes. I went and stayed over his house for a couple of nights, and we went to a weed festival and stuff. It was a great old time. I love a bit of that. So yeah, I like it. Quizmaster, yes, Kelly, Quizmaster. Hello, and welcome to the Conspiracy Quiz with Johnny Vedmore. We're going to be looking at all these prizes. What have we got to win tonight? Kelly Pierce, over to you. And then you show all of the car and everything, don't you, Kelly? That's the way it works. And another Kelly Albertine. What's up, Johnny? Loads is up. Loads is up. We're in the black book of a dirty old man. That's what we're doing. So yeah, okay. I get a feeling that people will enjoy a bit of a quiz. Oh, so let's go through some of these. We're down here. We start with Trump. Let's go down a bit further. Let's go backwards. Why not? Why not? We're looking at these circular. Let's look at the circles in the address book and see what they mean. I mean, the address book itself is at the bottom. You start to get to, as you see, security. So when it's the security, the first thing is Scotland Yard. So that's when they come into Britain or phone Scotland Yard, because Scotland Yard will look after us, because we're that much of important people, aren't we? Switzerland, their travel stuff, These are the things that are at the end. So we don't really need this sort of stuff. We want to start seeing, look, if you want rugs, contact Jerome Pierre. So some of it is just inane stuff. So police Palm Beach, and look, Joe Recari is actually got a big arrow to his name there. That's very interesting. So if that was this was marks made at the first raid, where Palm Beach police are getting involved, then they're already marking up the police who have been involved in this. That's very interesting. Alan Stopek of xylophonism. Interesting. Another. This is what I mean. Every name you'd be like, oh, that's interesting. Massage, Florida. So if they couldn't groom a girl, if they couldn't get some sort of underage girl in, then that's what they'd be doing. They'd be calling for a massage in Florida, wouldn't they? And they'd be getting the youngest looking girls in. Cleaners, Christoph Gay. I don't know who Christoph Gay is, but probably down with the service workers. Medical there, you see. So there's lots, and as you see, massage. So in the UK, get to a bit of the UK, Massage UK here. And these are his favorite massage places. So Joanne Brunt, whoever Joanne Brunt is, naughty girl, eventually people will get to you. Cherry Elling, a good unlisted. I don't know what that means, but you can see what they're doing as well is sorting out for the males who don't like young girls, because not everybody likes young girls. I know people want them to believe that everybody's into young girls. That might not be so. Lynn and Jojo Fontanilla. I recognize that name. I think they're one of the big families around, but I can't remember. There's Epstein's all of his own numbers. That led some people to believe that this might be Ghislaine Maxwell's Little Black Book, and I'm still not sure it's not. They don't circle Mort Zuckerman. Mort Zuckerman's pretty important. Industrialist. I don't think he was Mort Zuckerman part of the mega group? I don't think he was, but maybe he was. Big time New York boy though. When Stanley Pottinger and Gloria Steinem broke up, she went off when Iran-Contra got exposed and Stanley Pottinger's role in it got exposed. And Mayor Giuliani, as I asked Giuliani on Spaces, do you remember when you were considering indicting John Stanley Pottinger in 1984? And he said he didn't remember. Well, that's in the newspaper. And Gloria Steinem ran off with Mort Zuckerman. So these are all a very small circle of people. Les Wexner. I mean, we all know Les Wexner, don't we? We've all heard. Look how much Les and Abigail Wexner there. It's so many different numbers they've got for the different cars. Can you imagine how much money it is for these people to go around and do all of this stuff? It is insane stuff. Abigail Wexner, of course, is Les Wexner's wife. She's the one who Foxcourt House in the UK is registered to. Abigail gives to Democrats. Les gives to Republicans. So they spread the bets over all parties. When the night that Youngkerman and Epstein met two senators in Foxcourt House, Abigail Wexner gave a large donation to the Ohio Democrats. So that makes me think that Mike DeWine was there, and Mike DeWine, of course, was a senator for the Democrats in Ohio at the time. So now we're back up to where we were, and you can see that Donald Trump's there, of course, but there's not so much of a emphasis about Donald Trump. It's not like if he was as close still when this is here, I think you would have seen the amount of numbers you see for Les Wexner and people. This is just basically all of his numbers that they could get. And they get as many numbers as possible. I would suppose secretaries fax over a list of numbers to put in people's address books. So this would make sense. Larry Vysotsky, anybody? Right. Who is going to tell me who Larry Vysotsky is? I know who Larry Vysotsky is. Yes, Amy. Yes, Mort Zuckerman. Gloria Steinem's boyfriend, indeed. Industrialist billionaire. This from the wrong side of the tracks, Gloria Steinem, the feminist, gets into bed with billionaires and CIA. That's what she does. We got to do one on Gloria Steinem eventually. A long one. There's so much in there. Oh, there's lots of people asking questions. Zama, we need a most wanted deck of cards with the Epstein top suspects, 100%. And we need to give them out all over the place. We need to make it like something that there's a collective of people doing it, so that people can spread it around, so that you find just packs of cards just spread around on the floor with the guilty faces looking up at you. Like they did for Saddam, yes. If only you knew. Alec Baldwin, yes, Alec Baldwin's in there. Of course he's in there. He's got to be. Do you want to know if he's in there? We'll go and find out. Ride on the Lolita Pride. Yeah, ride on the Lolita Express. Like old times. Paula, Epstein had an Ubermensch program. There must have been scientists involved. There were loads. Please, Jesse, the man Jesse, he's really done well out there. Jesse Matchy, at Jesse Matchy, Matchey, I think his last name is. he is done amazing. Did a load about Melanie Walker. We've talked on a few spaces about Melanie Walker, her involvement. She's Rockefeller now. She was important to Bill Gates, vital, the right-hand woman to Epstein's scientific research during the time where he was peak molestation time. You could not be around Jeffrey Epstein in the early noughties and not that much and not realize he's molesting young girls and having them groomed systematically. You can't. So Melanie Walker, guilty as sin. She'll stick every needle in you, I tell you. Guilty as sin. So yeah, scientists, lots of them. Edge Foundation. I was talking about it on the podcast yesterday that Eric, he was talking about he said Brett Weinstein talked about meeting Epstein. I was like, no, it's Eric Weinstein. And it was a lie, because Eric Weinstein says, oh, I met him in an office and he seemed very weird and cut off and all this. Eric Weinstein was attending Edge when Edge was 100% funded by Epstein. Before that, Eric Weinstein was working for the UN, and he doesn't mention any of this sort of stuff. So as soon as someone's like that, you can go and you can stick your everything or your story up your butt. I don't believe it. Don't believe it. Lie like that on a big stage, then you're caught forever. And also, Eric Weinstein's theory of everything is the biggest load of tosh. Poof, nothing. I could write a better scientific theory than that. So he's a very strange one. I would say asset, but still. Anyway, science. That's what happens when Epstein and science come up. I get angry about Eric Weinstein. Sorry, that's not strictly Epstein, I suppose, but kind of. Explain why he had himself listed. Who listed? Jeffrey Epstein. You have to know your own numbers to give them out to other people, if that's what you mean. We had the same when I was young. My dad was the head of a SEAL Knot regiment. That doesn't sound much, but the SEAL Knot was 8,000 people. You were organizing events most weekends, and we would receive something like 300, 400 Christmas cards every year, and all of those people were in an address book. It was insane. And my mum used to spend days with my mum just writing out Christmas cards and sending them out all around the country to all of these different people. And, you had to have an address book full of stuff. Our address book when we were young were really massive. None of them were important people. They were all people who liked to dress up in 17th century clothing on the weekend. But anyway, yeah, rich men have different types of address books. People can do things in those address books. Is Nygaard on there? I don't think he is, but we'll check now. The lie is right. Yes. Missed if you saw these already. Oh, I'm not sure what you're talking about, Abe. Vera Wang is a top lingerie designer. Oh, really? Oh, is she on the page there? No. Oh, no, but she might have been on the page before. Vera Wang! Another Wang. That's double Wang. Hey, everybody, we got a double Wang episode. Hope you're enjoying this double Wang episode right now. That's a very interesting fact, because that's a lot of links to lingerie, to models who wear lingerie, to catwalks, to Victoria's Secrets, to all of those things. New York fashion. Well, look at Sotheby's. Who is Sotheby's? Well, it was one of them. What's her face? Dubin. Eva Dubin was the head of the fashion department at Sotheby's during that period as well. While Les Wexner was on the board, Taubman, one of the mega group, were on the board. So there's loads of links, and Ghislaine Maxwell is looking for her young gallerinas, as she calls them. Yes, Kat, I hear you. Dershowitz said he only had a massage with old Olga. I would, to be honest, I kind of believe him, mainly because the evidence is that someone accused him of that and then withdrew the statement. Virginia Giuffre said, oh, no, that never happened afterwards. I don't know. I must have been mistaken. I met a lot of people who look like that. Really suspicious. And I'm not, I'm just not sure. If the evidence is the person said that and then said the opposite afterwards when they had no pressure on them, then it's suspicious. And I think they were trying to get Dershowitz taken off the case in 2019 as seemingly being involved, so that he wouldn't beat him in court because he was just too good. Not saying he's not a dirty old man, not saying he didn't have a topless one-hand shandy, not saying he didn't know exactly what Jeffrey Epstein was up to, and not saying he's not guilty of sin for something, of course. Cheryl Lane, Gloria must have been a high priestess. Oh, Gloria Steinem is one of the most important. She sold out every woman in America. Every woman in America. Every single feminist movement co-opted, streamlined down to this one chunk of man feminism, the man's feminism, the CIA's version of feminism. Gloria Steinem, monstrosity. The way they worship her today, they have Hermione, what's her name, Emma Watson or whatever from Harry Potter, interviewing her, and they're like, "Oh, you're the most wonderful woman in the world." And it's like, "Oh yeah, okay. Well, you need an actor to interview her like that, don't you? And you need a bad actor because it doesn't work even when you got it." Vera Wang is known for designing wedding dresses and figure skating. Yeah, I bet yeah, figure skating makes sense, seeing as it's always small young girls who are often starting off in that. Like with the invasion of Iraq, I'm sure you mean Iraq, in 2000s, a deck of Epstein, yeah. Vera Wang is also known for lingerie. Ooh. When he explained that last night, it sounded like they compromised to hold out senators against the war. Yeah, I'm not sure, Halsey. I'm not sure. When Epstein, Youngkerman, and whoever was on the other arm, who I think is probably Melanie Walker, I think she was the other woman. I think she was used in that way, and she was happy to, especially with some of her comments around Andrew. I don't know why they were using them at Foxcoat House and what the point of that was. I think there was a lot of espionage in that. One of the reasons could be that a month later they were voting on Iraq, but it wasn't necessarily, you didn't need much in the way of holdouts for Iraq. Iraq war, it got passed really easily. I also feel that it's really important to note that the second thing that happened on the opening of the new Senate season, 2 days after this visit with the senators, was the introduction by Hillary Clinton of the Amber Alert bill. That was interesting. I think there might be a collection of reasons, and Jeffrey Epstein was doing a few different things, but it could have also been a preparation of kingmaking, and John Kerry could have been there, or whoever another candidate might be. So yeah, interesting. I'm not sure if it's holdouts, possibly, but I think it was something to do with the Senate, and there was two things happening that were really vitally important. They were all fashion industry people. There's loads of them. I'll show you another one. We'll get to another one as well. Vera Wang brands everything now from lingerie to thongs. Ooh, I bet you she does. I wouldn't even like to see what the size of the thongs goes down to. That's what the type of people they are. Well, you gotta have your prostitutes looking good. A lot of them weren't that attractive. Yeah, wow, that's true enough. Selma Hayek, is she on there? We'll find out now. Hey, we steals Play-Doh snakes. I love that name. Hey, new subscriber, love the research, man. Hey, did you know that General Flynn is buddies? That Jen Finn is buddies with and does podcasts with Paul Vallely, the co-author to Aquina's Mind Wars literature. Wow, that's really interesting. I'm not sure if you know Dana Duda's Rotting Jewels work on the satanic stuff. Really interesting if that's the same Aquina you're talking about. General Flynn, loads of links all over the place. Hard to work out what type of man he is, but he's definitely got his fingers in a few psyops, that's for sure. Donald Trump met Melania through Epstein. Yeah. If the deep state didn't exist, Johnny would be getting a Nobel Prize for his research. That might be true, but if it didn't exist, then all of the other researchers would have been able, who are much better than me, would have been able to do research in this way, because they would have been taught to just look at everything. They would be objective, impartial, and so they would have got there first anyway. That's what I see. I think I'm only here doing this, and it only looks that good because everybody else is doing such a bad job. I just do like the best job I can, and it's much better than the extremely bad job that the press are doing. Keep up the great work, Mika. Thank you, Mika. Thank you for joining and getting involved. I don't know much about any of it. Why I'm here. Yeah, don't worry. No, you we all learn. That's the route we go. Desert Rain, hello. Lutfisk, hello. He has a listing in the house in New York. Okay, we'll get back to this in a little bit and go through some more names. We Steals Play-Doh Snakes says again, did you know that Steve Bannon, who prepped Epstein for an ABC interview, is a founder of Cambridge Analytica? Oh, yes. And has ties to Bryan Singer. Oh, yes, I do know that. I actually wrote an article about it, about Harvey Weinstein and Bryan Singer years ago, about 2017, 2018. Who was tied to the Den Kid ring ran via Mark Collins Rector. Yeah, in actual fact, Mark Collins Rector, I think it was, had a stake in World of Warcraft. Yeah, get ready. World of Warcraft with Steve Bannon. So during that time, they're programming kids games, the most popular kids games, and they're a bunch of psyop intelligence mixed with systematic child molesters. The open secret, I think it is, which reveals a lot of the Bryan Singer links and others, is a fantastic documentary everybody should watch, for sure. Does Giz have a dick? No. She's got a vacuum. Bannon participated in Event 209. I think you mean 201. But yes, I didn't know that. I grew up with her. She was horrible. Ooh, I'd be interested to know more. Ellen, Vera started with lingerie and bridal too. She didn't brand lingerie after. Why would Epstein be interested in bridal gowns? Indeed. Well, because he's got lots of young girls going at it, hasn't he? Remember, like, subscribe, share. Hey, send me a super chat or whatever if you can. Oh, someone's already sent me something up there. I haven't got to yet. So thank you very much. I need all your help. I honestly, I need to be able to survive doing this work, because then I will just do it all the time. I'm hoping to find someone who's objective and cares about the truth and is willing to help finance this sort of work, because it is really, really hard. But yeah, like, share, subscribe, please, if you can. Ellen, yeah, Viva started lingerie bridal. Amy's got fantastic knowledge. You should listen to her. I mean, fantastic. Kubrick's Rule 69, thank you, bro. Yo, thank you. Abe, quiz show's name, The Lie is Right, The Wheel of Vilification. Let's expose the deal. Yeah. Okay, I'll consider some of this. I was just going to go with the conspiracy quiz, but yeah, that's okay. I like something that's a play on words. He was interested in young models, not wedding dresses, but maybe he liked young girls looking like they were in wedding dresses. Still, I mean, I don't even want to get into lingerie and then wedding lingerie, so I just don't want to. Let's not go there. Matchmaking, like Trump and Melania, yeah. Fashion designers are known to be culture creatures. Yeah, Epstein was probably gay or bi. That's an interesting thought, Zamatoshi. His birthday bash with Peter Mandelson boys too. No mentions this much. Yeah, no one mentions it much, but I do think Peter Mandelson's obviously dodgy. He's obviously he's very clearly openly homosexual. So and we know he likes a younger partner. So what that means, I like to see evidence of some of this as well, but 100%, if Epstein's supplying big wigs with young girls, he's also doing it with young boys. That is hard to work out. I haven't found any evidence of it yet. And it might be that they're just doing a load of evil stuff that just isn't sexual abuse. When they're together, I'm talking about Mandelson and Epstein. Vera Wang is connected to models, New York socialites. They all attend the same parties, these guys. The New York scene, New York clique. Indeed, it blows me away. The conservatives fall for so many of these guys whilst thinking that they know the Epstein story, like Peter Thiel's Epstein's ties. Yeah, he's got a few. No, Selma is not on there. Good, all right. There's a link, though, isn't there? What's a link? What's a boyfriend or husband? Who is it? I can't remember. It's late. I'll watch this tomorrow. Bye, folks. Thank you, Paula. Thanks for stopping by. Good night. Palantir did track and tracing for Warp Speed. Yeah, Palantir worked with Clinton's during a host, Trump's cabinet, and Biden's DNI pick. Overall, Haynes is the former Palantir employee, and of course, Peter Thiel was also invested in Carbine 9/11 with Ehud Barak, Nicole Youngman, and Jeffrey Epstein. Still in 2019, Ellen Vera Wang designs wedding dresses for all celebs. Ooh, so she has connections. Was interesting. Amy, thank you so much. You're so lovely. Sending me a super sticker. That's massively important. Thank you. Fashion designers are like celebrities themselves, says Desert Rain. Zamatoshi Steve Bannon also has an interesting connection with the biosphere to experiment. Yes, he's got lots of connections. Oh, wow, didn't know that about the World of Warcraft. Did you know Pokemon Go was a biometric surveillance experiment ran by the CIA? I'd love to. That makes so much more sense. Makes so much more sense, doesn't it? If that's true, I love it. I love it. I really do. What was the operation recommendation? Which operation recommendation? Which operation are you talking about now? Are you talking within the chat or you're talking to me? Virginia is friends with Eliza Mortland. Yeah, Pottinger, Edwards, and Theresa Helm. Yes. Holy fuck! I just seen that. Neckbeard Prime. You're gonna make me cry on a live. Don't do that. Zamatoshi from when Vice still did useful reporting. That was that was a long time ago. I definitely love to read that. Definitely love to read that. Like I say, oh yeah, I can click some of these, can't I? Yes, of course I can. So Amy gave me 20 buck here, super sticker, which I really appreciate. Holy hell, Neckbeard Prime. Henry or few, cat food or two, just something for you. Thanks, Johnny. Lots of love, my friend. Honestly, that's a massive amount to give me, and is like it just takes weight every time someone like gives me something. It takes a weight off, but that's massive, mate. Thank you very much. You definitely be down as executive producer on the next series of Searching for Stanley, and when I do the long version of the first one. Thanks massively, man. Thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm gonna well up because life's hard. Life's hard. Doing this work is crazily hard to make a living, and to be perfectly honest, people don't want to employ me because I'm so dangerous. I'm like, I make myself toxic by being objective. So thank you again, Neckbeard Prime. Thank you. Larry Johnson, ex-CIA, runs PSYOP still. Yes. Did you know that Rudy Giuliani, and let's get this one on, did you know that Rudy Giuliani is friends with pervert priest named Alan Placker? Placker was a neighbor for Doctor's House Shannon Gilbert, disappeared disappear Ed from Long Island serial killer case. Well, that's interesting. I'd like to look further into that. But Giuliani was a prosecutor, was he district attorney or was he assistant district attorney or something for the Southern District of New York, which is, of course, the most corrupt of all of the New York of police state departments worldwide. Yeah, Cheryl, who did you grow up with? Oh, whoa. Yeah. If you talk about Gloria, I'd love to speak to you about stuff. I just love it. I think I'm going to speak to a lot of feminists about Gloria Steinem, I've got to say. Right, let me just get through a couple more of these. I'm not sure how many you got. Yeah, okay. Speaking as a conservative, the implications are far bigger than either party. If even a portion of it's true, we have tyrants. Yeah, it's true. It's true, Halsey. It's true. We do have tyrants. We got to come to terms. Hi, Ellen. Yes. It's really true. Be right back. Drop article. Hi, Luke Fierce. Lots of people. My neckbeard prime again. I love you. Thank you. Keep up the good work, Johnny from David Lauter Jr. Love you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. The article is by what's that? Ooh, Network World. Ooh, called the CIA, NSA, and Pokemon Go. Listen, if you could send that to me on something like my DMs are open on Twitter, contact form on the bottom of NEWSPASTE, whatever. So I don't forget, because after these streams I do tend to forget stuff. I'd really be interested in looking into that. That's a really interesting story. I'd like to look at who was involved in making Pokemon Go, that sort of thing, because then we can see people who are involved in doing psyops now. That's what I really want to find and this is what's going to be in these books. Okay, let's go. Yeah, I agree with Neckbeard Prime. You're all awesome by being here and engaging. Right back at you, yeah, all of you. Right, so let's get back to have a little look at this. Does anybody know who Larry Vysotsky is? Yes, it's written there. He's a chief pilot. I didn't even see it was written. So yeah, it's pretty obvious who he is. He's the chief pilot. So he's the guy who's flying everyone around. He's the guy who's filling out the flight logs. So his poor writing. Caroline Stark. Now, I would assume that's Koo Stark. Is that Koo Stark? If that's Koo Stark, she went out. She New York elite. I'm not sure if it is, but she would be the same one who went out with Prince Andrew before he got married to Ferguson. Yeah, what Larry saw, what Larry Vysotsky saw, he saw everything. I bet he got involved in one or two bits here and there. Douglas A. Choteau, I'm not sure who that is. Like these are the things. Some of the people, Jess Daly, of course, J.P. Morgan, come out recently during the Jamie Dimon and J.P. Morgan stuff. Jess Daly was the one who was backwards and forwards, and they were using code together. Yes, code. So that's very interesting. There's some interesting people here. Like I say, we skim through some of this and we look for mainly David Rockefeller. I mean, why wouldn't you have David Rockefeller in there? And Ranieri. That's interesting. Okay. Let's see if is Rambo. I don't know. She's on a different part. It's also Audrey Rambeau, who we'll talk about later, or we'll get to a little bit later. So if there's anybody here, as we go through, if there's anybody here who you're like, who's that? Who's that? Or you go and find it out, tell us. We like a little bit of this. Senator George Mitchell, Nathan Mervoyd, he's an important character, especially in Edge. Nathan Mervoyd he took up, as you see, intellectual ventures, basically buying out intellectual properties. He helped set up Microsoft to many. Was it Microsoft, part of IBM's computer systems? It basically looked into eventually finding intellectual property. He's such a bastard. He's horrible to look at as well, but such a bastard, Nathan Mervoid. He finds intellectual property that hasn't been properly described in a patent, and he describes it properly and steals a patent from people. Evil, evil. Marvin Minsky, one of the science contingents. Mark Middleton. Seriously, is that? Oh yes, yeah, of course, it's Mark Middleton. Mark Middleton is the guy who committed suicide by hanging himself from a tree and shooting himself with a shotgun in the chest. That's the only time where I laugh after suicide. Actually, not in these circles. Yeah, Mark Middleton's the guy who introduced Epstein into the Clinton White House when Clinton first took office. Epstein visited the Clinton White House in the first 2 years, something like 17 times, mostly with Mark Middleton, and he was a go-between. And Mark Middleton, got murdered a couple of years back, found hanging from a tree with a shotgun wound for the chest, and they registered it as a suicide. Yeah, dodgy. Stupid question time. Okay, we can do stupid question time. Stupid question time. Do you think everyone in the list is involved in shady stuff, or is it logical to assume that some of these outlier peripheral figures? Yeah, outlier peripheral figures. New York elite scene. People who were connected to other people who have met at a party, people who haven't become useful yet. That's a really important one. The people who haven't quite become useful yet, because they haven't found a reason for it, but they're 2 degrees of separation from somebody else. Robert Meister. Now, was Robert Meister the guy who warned Les Wexner about Jeffrey Epstein? Was it Les Wexner he warned? He said, I think Robert Meister was the one who said to Les Wexner at a party, this Jeffrey Epstein character, you do not want him around. I don't know what he is, but he isn't normal. And yet he still kept him around. You see how every page is full up. Like you say, okay, so Neckbeard Prime, what you just said there is that on this page, who actually was involved? Who would they want? Well, David Mitchell may have some sort of relevance. I'm not sure who he is. David Mitchell Holdings, obviously a bit of money. Larry Morrison, not sure who they are. But Nathan Mervoid went to the Edge parties and so was involved in whatever shady work Edge was, which was about kind of like Jeffrey Epstein finding the most elite scientists to build the world of tomorrow. So that's got to be dodgy. Senator George Mitchell, well, you'd think that having a senator in your books means you've got some sort of link. And Marvin Minsky, again, Edge. Also Russian stuff, things from the 90s where they went to Russia. Robert Meister, dodgy. Jerry Merritt, I don't know if he's dodgy or not because I don't know what he does, but Mark Middleton, extremely dodgy. So you can see just on that page alone, we can spot out there's at least 4 people who are doing dodgy stuff with Jeffrey Epstein or have been involved with people around Jeffrey Epstein doing dodgy stuff and said, no, stop doing it. And Cindy Lopez is a young girl we see around a lot, hanging on Jeffrey Epstein's arm, and she was very young at the time. She also is pictured at the Edge events. Nick Leese is a money man. Adam Perry Lang, the famous chef, who obviously lots of people question his involvement now because he was a chef for him for about 4 years, between 1999 and 2003, I think it was. And so we'd have seen a lot of this stuff happening. Melinda Luntz is on the passenger, is on the Lolita Express passenger manifest over and over again. Melinda Luntz. I think she may be connected with Frank Luntz, but I'm unable to work that out yet. And Frank Luntz is, of course, a pollster who helped write the Wexner-Luntz analysis on Iraq War in 2003. But you see how important these people on this address book. I mean, a lot of them, like here, Senator John Kerry, who I think is one of the people he met in Voxcote House. Epstein was giving money to Senator John Kerry up until 2002, and Senator John Kerry admitted that he was going to go out and tackle George W. Bush for the presidency and put his best foot forward. Now, this is interesting. Just on the fly, thinking offhand here, as I'm looking around, it says Randy James. Is that... it's not spelt the wrong way around. It's not James Randi, the magician, is it? That'd be interesting. But okay. And what, Walter Isaacson of Time magazine? Obviously, that's where Jeffrey Epstein wanted to be, on the front of that. Let's not get confused. Jack Kessler. That's an interesting name, because Patrick Kessler was the false name used to try and sell Jeffrey Epstein, fake Jeffrey Epstein sex tapes to the press in 2017, 18, 19, 20, I can't remember, through Bowies and Pottinger, though. So up here, you see Joey Hunter. I don't know who he is, but he sounds like a boy. Director of Model Wire. Oh, God. Well, there you go. Okay, so if you want to find someone who hangs around with models, and Jeffrey Epstein had in his little black book, we should check out who Joey Hunter is, because I've never heard of him before, and I bet you anybody who's hanging around with the models might be up to no good. Darren Indyke, Jeffrey Epstein's lawyer there. Pretty important on the scene. Art gallery folk up here, Gregory and Margaret Hedberg. Hashemi. Wow, Jalia Hashemi. So I would suppose that she's related to Jamshid and Cyrus Hashemi, who Cyrus Hashemi was Stanley Pottinger's business partner and client back during Iran-Contra, and they helped organize Iran-Contra in the October surprise, and Jeffrey Epstein ran guns with them during that period. So Hashemi, I think that would be probably part of the family. Amazing that she's in the book then. Eileen Guggenheim, of course, who apparently Maria Farmer claimed she was in hiding from. At the same time, she was exhibiting artwork to Eileen Guggenheim. You know, there's a lot of names here. Some names I'm not so keen on. Let me see what they're saying in Indie Chat. New York. Yeah, there's lots of cover-ups with the Catholic Church in America. I can tell you that. Suicide rights, said Sheldon. Yeah, most definitely. What they say. Alan, yes, it's a huge police cover-up. If you're familiar with Dove McGowan's Program to Kill books, it's a fit to high criteria. Notice they never mentioned that Rex knew the corrupt cop involved. And there's a just after there from Neckbeard Prime. The father of AI, Marvin Minsky, exactly, really important. Giuliani covered up West Point scandal involving the horrible abuse of children, not surprised. JV, do you have these records posted anywhere? What, the ones we're looking at now, Ellen? I was thinking about that earlier. I'll post them up later, because most of it is redacted everywhere. I can't remember who gave me the unredacted version, but I get a lot of these. I got to get things sent to me all the time. Honeysuckle Creek, hello. I love Honeysuckle Creek. The book is his network, whether people knew or not, is up for debate in some cases, yet those that are well aware are also in there. Yeah. Process elimination, and we start to see things more clearly. True. Either way, it's a black book of clout and potential leverage. Yes, it is, Neckbeard Prime. Corrupt cop being James Burke, FSS. The guy had snuff tapes in his possession. Oh, God. It's not a surprise. There's also a thing where you enter into a world of investigating people. And I know this because I've investigated people, discovered terrible things about them. And then you put it on the side and you're like, I can't do anything with that, but I want to stop that person doing this thing. Then you realize you're keeping compromise on people. And you realize that you're like, how can I use this? Well, how can I stop them? Maybe I should say to them, stop doing what you're doing. But then they know, etc. Just say yes. Indeed, Mark Middleton, death by suicide. Suicide Ed. Zamatoshi, is George Webb any relation to Whitney? No. What do you make of his reporting on all this? George Webb, real name is George Zweigart. He describes himself as of Robert Maxwell's Mossad. He lures you in with interest, and then he basically feeds you full of crap. His own brother says you cannot trust him at all and makes videos about how much you can't trust him. I once discovered he was the one, when I was with Whitney, he started trying to get into my life. I told her this guy George Webb was getting in. She told me how he had gone round to her father's work office and harassed him one time. And I said to this George Webb, I'm not really interested in getting to know you. 2 days later, he flew to Cardiff and was hanging around in Cardiff Bay, near where I live, tweeting, I'm here in Cardiff Bay waiting to meet Johnny Vedmore, when I had told him I did not want to know him or get to know him. And it was obvious from someone who's Robert Maxwell's Mossad, an intimidation threat. I did not like that at all, and so he's not someone I like. I don't like George Webb. Zweigart. He seeds in false information. That Palm Beach chef has to know it all. Yes, we would have seen it all. Eugenics, finance, weapons, sex, pawns, pattern of power plays. Yes, they are all available online. Just a little bit hard to find. Was wondering about Luntz. Yeah, Luntz is dodgy. Walter Isaacson is a top journalist. Okay, I'd like to read some of his stuff. Not to mention he was a sexual deviant who was trying to lead the FBI astray on the second case. So just back to Walter Isaacson being a top genius. I take it we just passed him. Walter Isaacson. Yeah, Time Magazine. There you go. Okay. Is a top journalist. So do you mean, Amy, that he's a good journalist or he's just like a famous journalist? He was definitely a sexual deviant, though. Would lead the FBI astray on said case. Yes, okay. Search your search engine for Epstein Little Black PDF and some flight logs. Random thought: child model scouts and their agencies might be a thread to follow. Yes. I've actually gone through a lot of the MC² models back in the day as well, and found that not a lot of the ones later on were listed who later on went to work with Epstein or got trafficked to Epstein. So there was obviously the models who were the actual models and the ones who were then just trafficked. The flight logs were also attached to Ghislaine's court documents. That's true. Wexner has a tight connection to current Governor DeWine here in Ohio. Yes, I think he was, Mike DeWine was the second person at the Foxcoat House, I think. Hey, did you know Keith Raniere has MK Ultra behavioral modification patent filed? Seriously, wow. I'm not surprised, but post it. We did. I'll go back to where we were just then. Is Louis Raniere from Raniere & Co. Inc. Are they related? That's what I'm wondering. Is Louis Raniere related? Because he's in here, of course. Right. Okay. So let's get up to here. So Jeffrey Epstein himself. Let's look at some of this before I get back on to the comments here. Jeffrey Epstein's own, I mean, all of these, this one circled above is, of course, the continuation of Jeffrey Epstein's numbers from another page. Mark Epstein's there, Paula Epstein, and a few others. Eric Ganny. Who's Eric Ganny? I've heard his name before. So hard. There's a lot of these people. You remember a lot of them, but then Dwindle out of your head. I wonder if Gerald Edelman's anything to do with, he's neuroscience research, so you know what he's into. He's definitely probably Edge at this point, because this is when Edge is fully funded by Epstein. That's after Brockman has stepped down. So Epstein's telephone book, Epstein's portables. Ring his number. See if you get him now. See if you get him on his satellite phone. I'm laughing about a dead man. Yes. And this is one part of it. So you got Buckingham Research. That sounds like interesting. Who's David Cadane? He's an interesting one. Buckingham Research. That sounds like an interesting. Leon Black up there. Leon Black was involved in what's it called? Drexel Burnham Lambert, which was sorted out by the federal money that needed to be was sorted out by David Bowies. Oh yes, Drexel Burnham Lambert. Sophie Biddle Hakim. She was just Sophie Biddle. One of the ones who I think Epstein found her husband. Not sure if that's true. You'd have to check it. Jerry Beck. I don't have any relation. Tom Barak. Ehud Barak. I was told yesterday there's no in Ehud Barak. It's Ehud Barak. And there he is, a Barak Associates LLC chairman. Later invested with Jeffrey Epstein and Nicole Youngman, Peter Thiel, and Carbine 9/11. Prince Bandar is there, of course, the Saudi prince. I think Prince Bandar is one of the princes named in the documents whose names has not been unsealed yet. So Ava Anderson, I know her name. Again, some of this is like, I know her name. What is it? Oh, I don't know who she is. And comes back later. Israel, this is interesting. So, like the names, Ehud Olmert is on there as well. Ehud Olmert. Sorry, no in the H. And his massage for the island. This is Virgin Islands, so this is for his Virgin Island numbers. And hotels. So these are the more hotels, taxis. Some of this will be like New York, Paris massage. This is Paris, so this is the numbers of France. Skip through a lot of this because a lot of this, some of it's financial. So the different finances, financial. Bear Stearns, Ira Zickerman. We know now from this that Ira Zickerman was his main contact at Bear Stearns externally. We also know that he had James A. Growney for Chemical Bank, which was bought out by the Rockefellers at one point. Nat West is also noted down there, not a surprise. But then you can follow these people and work out that, you had a relationship with Epstein. What did you do? And there's not much. Now I went to skip over that just before I get back to talk. Before we do the last bit of this, Brazil over here as well is noted. That's interesting. How often do they go to Brazil? I'm not sure if I've seen many trips to Brazil. Any trips to Brazil. I'd be interested to know more about that. Very interesting. Another one, which is, here we go. This is America Hotels, mainly. And these are the workers. These look like the workers. Andrea Mitrovic, Sarah Callan, of course, there. Ghislaine Maxwell's many numbers. So 65th Street. So this is his New York stuff. And here we go. We've ended up at the end of the address book proper, and we'll scan through these a bit quicker than the others. I think how long have we been on for? An hour 46. So let's say probably another 10 minutes, 30 minutes. We'll try and end it on the 2-hour mark. I go back. U2, Neckbeard Primary Rock, U2, not about me, it's just about the list, and JV is all your lovely man. Ranieri was definitely CIA, NP. Any organization or institution where kids are involved and parents are not is dodgy to me. Yeah. How have parents trusted so easily in the past is beyond me. Yeah. It's not like murder, rape, etc. It's new. You don't know any single person who you take your children to be with could actually be a part of something that like could have situational pressures in their life that make them act in ways that no one sees coming. So you've got to be so careful with who you leave your kids with, and make sure that they're watched by other people that you could possibly trust. I mean, a lot of people say homeschooling nowadays is not a surprise, so that's a route. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is in there with other family members. Yep, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is there on the flight logs. He's there in the books. He's hanging out in the house. So he's there a lot. If only UK. If only K. If you only K. If you only knew. I can send you links on X, Ellen. Oh, that's good. People are sorting each other out. A lot of people talking about stuff and sharing information. I love people sharing information on these platforms. Brilliant. The next tweet would have been headed home fun trip, but sunk into themes. Laugh. Ooh, here we go. Maria Farmer told me, be careful of that the only person who wasn't involved was RFK Jr. Right, yeah. Maria Farmer she says a load of things. Can't trust any of it. Amy, I meant that he hailed in journalism circles. This is Walter Isaacson. And promoted as a leading journalist today. Just wrote the Elon bio. What is he linked to? Interesting. That is Walter Isaacson. Scary web. Yeah, I know. Who says I say to someone on Twitter in messages, I don't want to know you. You harass my current partner. I don't want you coming anywhere near me. And then he turns up in my city and starts tweeting my name. And like, it was just obvious. He's obvious. That's the stage of Mossad that I had to deal with at that stage. Now it's different. Now they follow me online to chat rooms and stuff, and start like trying to cut up the conversation, stop the conversation. Before it was different. Nick, thank you for supporting JV. That's right. Imagining things. Imagine ringing G's number now and he answers. I know. I'm sure I sent him an email in the past. I'm sure I probably did. But from one of his old sites, he had one of his sites. He had a website. It was a Virgin Island one. It was in Jeffrey Epstein's own. It was under his own business, and it just had like basically a message drop. You type your message in, press enter, and then it goes off somewhere. No other interaction. It was a real interesting way for Epstein to pick up messages online. Ellen, it really is a spider's web. Yes. No one's calling, no. But I don't know if Isaacson is worthy of accolades he gets. Who is in the press? Who is? There's hardly anyone. But John Ray is an attorney who's involved in Long Island serial killer. He's in there, Johnny. Not surprised. Ooh, that's interesting, isn't it? Think she's a model name too. Doesn't ring a bell. Yeah. Weaving spiders come not here. Was it Shakespeare who wrote Weaving Spiders Come Not Here? It's also, of course, for those who don't know, the motto of Bohemian Grove. Did you comment about Long Island serial killer case? No, but I'm aware of it in some detail. Why? I'm really interested in I'm really interested in this. He read a comment from someone, and I thought it was you. I have some information about the case and the connection to a few people listed here. Ooh, yes, that's interesting. Oh, definitely The Grove and Midsummer Night's Dream, which is a very strange Shakespearean comedy. Yes, RFK Jr. said him and Epstein were fossil hunting. Yeah. Listen, I'm learning more about RFK as I study him more. It's not going to be good. I just tell you, just don't put your eggs in that basket and think you're going to come out with a hero. Many billionaires spend time in Brazil. That's true. I just can't find on the flight logs, but we don't have all of them. That fossil. That fossil hunting on a native people reservation, not really a good alibi. More women missing in Dakotas than anywhere less else in the USA. Too true. The in North Dakota and a place like the Pine Ridge Reservation, there's been people trafficking at mass scale going on for a long, long time, and it is disgusting and it is ignored. And unfortunately, the tribal governments and the system of tribal governance in the US allows this to be a kind of loophole that no one watches. It is honestly a travesty. RFK Jr. has Scientology ties. Yeah, I've heard this as well. Elon and his brother Kimball are close to Richard Branson, who has ties to Epstein, Terramar Project, and bringing Nixon cult to Necker Island property. Indeed, Kimball Musk is very interesting. Elon Musk is also very interesting. They have actually lots of connections. Wouldn't be surprised if transhumanism was one of those connections. Predators are everywhere, all over the place. Elon, the champion of free speech. Yeah. Who is really the modern day Jose Delgado, and his brother Kimball works with Gates and Branson bioengineering our food. Yeah, really dodgy stuff. If you've not seen any of the news hounds I've done on Elon Musk, it's really interesting stuff. I found on his Ziptune net site from the archives that he actually worked for Microsoft, something that was never told to anybody. I pray for you and Whitney are kept safe from any harm. I pray too. She's of course the mother of my child, even though we're not together. I still want her to be safe, and I want my child to be safe. Here's an article about it. I'll send it to even the John Carter class is here. Get better late than never. Why not? Why not? Come on in. Never trusted him nor Ted. Both shady. Yeah, they all are. Not all the Kennedys are good. Unfortunately, even the ones we know about, we learn more about. We go, oh, we made up our idols. But listen, JFK and Robert F. Kennedy can inspire you, but you've got to understand something weird was happening back then, and you don't know everything. We don't know everything, so let's not believe that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is actually any different than the people who come before him. Is what I'm saying. They all had their extreme weakness, JFK especially. Mossad hacked Jimmy Dore's phone and he got invited to the Grove the same week. Oh wow. The Kennedys were a mafia bloodline. Yeah. None of these men who were claimed they're not claimed. Yeah, none of it is true. What you're seeing. I'm gonna just leave Alan's up there about Jimmy Dore's phone. Let's look through some of this. Let's skip through some of this. You see, there's lots of names here, and some of it like Prince of Michael of Yugoslavia. Remember, Prince has come up a lot, so maybe Prince Michael of Yugoslavia was one of the people he was trafficking girls to. Maybe those girls who have changed their stories and withdrawn some of their allegations, maybe some of them not told the truth either. So who knows? But you can see there's loads of names. This is where we get through just the basic telephone book. This is it. You've got most of the important numbers more at the end of the telephone book. These numbers, they're harder. These names, you have to know who each of these people are to understand how they would be related. And I'll help you understand that in many ways now. So as we go through this, some of you might look at these names and say, I know that person, or I know that person, but not realize who they are. So one person we can work out here, Casey Wasserman. Casey Wasserman was the grandson of Lou Wasserman, who was the guy who basically mafia ran the Hollywood like it was a mafia. And he had his fingers in every pie. Casey Wasserman's father was a mobster, ended up in prison, and Casey Wasserman changed his name back to his grandfather's name, Wasserman, to keep that heritage. And he was involved in media industry still. I think it was big money behind the scenes. Met with Epstein. He comes up on the Lolita Express flight manifest during the trips to Africa. So Casey Wasserman is that, once you realize who they are, you realize, oh, he's a big guy. David Wassong underneath, Soros private equity partners. You can see the type of people. Barbara Walters, well, staple of the New York scene. When Epstein's coming up through the 80s in the New York scene, Barbara Walters is constantly in every single club and is completely famous. Von Habsburg. So I wonder if that's related to the Von Habsburg family. Probably. Here we go. Let's look. You see, there's a lot of names here, and we're going to skip through some of this. Chrissy Turlington. She's a model, of course, very famous model. From the same elite sort of circles, like elite model circles, John Casablanca's circles of the early 90s. Early mid-90s. By the point she's been written in this address book, she's like top dog. Ivanka Ivana down there. Who else we got? David Tisch, Falstrup. I can't remember the Falstrup. Morgan's Falstrup. I think that's one of the elite New York families as well. Can't remember. Let's see. This is interesting because this allows me to scan through, and when I'm scanning through, I'm looking for things. I'm like, look, Alfred Taubman. Alfred Taubman is one of the heads of the mega group. Alfred Taubman is also on the board of Sotheby's alongside Wexner, while Ghislaine Maxwell is grooming young girls who are gallerinas in there. Talbot Williams, that's a name that has loads of bell going off, along with Hugo Swire. This is the thing, is that a lot of these, like I say, I've gone through them and I've looked into them, and it's hard to work out who, hard to remember who they are. There's Koo Stark. So whether Caroline Stark later on was related, I don't know, but Koo Stark was one of Prince Andrew's ex-girlfriends before this is really weird, because before Fergie, along with Caroline Stanbury, who's also one of just above. Both of these girls went out with Prince Andrew before he got married to Ferguson. Christine Camp, interesting. St. Brice, I'm not sure who that is. Soros, Peter Soros, of course, you're talking about the Soros family there. And Kevin Spacey's hanging around there. Ferdinando de Soto also got involved in the African tour. He's Peruvian economist, I think he is, if I remember correctly. Went round Epstein with Epstein and Clinton and did some speeches in Ghana, if I remember, Ghana or Nigeria, during that trip. Now, for the ones who don't know the British, Rupert Soames is extremely important, like one of the most important people around. Why? Grandson, I think, is it grandson of Winston Churchill. Rupert Soames and Nicholas Soames, brothers, who one runs Serco, which is the biggest outsourcing contract firm in the UK. So obviously extremely bigwigs, Lord Rupert Soames and Lord Nicholas Soames. Or was it just Lord Nicholas Soames and Rupert Soames didn't get Lord? Whatever. These are the people that Epstein have in his little black book, aren't they? The ones who get away with everything all of the time. The Soames of the world. So really interesting people. I'm sure a couple of you, I'm going to look back and you're going to say, oh, I just saw that person and I just saw that person. Because, you know, we all know a little bit about some of these characters. Some of these, like this page, there's a Saudi prince over there. Isabella de Sojourner, I've heard her name, but I don't know much about her. Maria Shriver, I've heard her name, and Bobby Shriver. You know, some people in America will know these names, from people they've seen on TV or around in the media a lot. It's not quite the same for me because I'm in Britain, so I don't get all of them. Jeffrey Sachs, important. Evelyn de Rothschild, a man who was introduced to his wife by Henry Kissinger. I mean, that's one hell of one, isn't it? And Eduardo de Rothschild. So they're hanging around with the Rothschild circles. And here we go. We're going to get up on the page after next. Look how many Rothschild they got. They got another load of Rothschild there too. Peter and Thomas Roth as well. Rosenthal, Hoffenberg. Well, a lot of these sound like Jewish names, don't they? Rosenfeld, Rosenkrantz, Rosen. Oh my God! It's almost like it's a conspiracy. I'm skipping up because I get into someone here too. Ali Reza, interest in Robar. Again, I'm getting up to am I gone past her? I must have. I must have gone past her. I don't know where she is. Audrey Rambeau. She must be on the flight manifest and not on the actual book. Audrey Rambeau is very interesting. She's a designer who got taken to Little St. James, and I think she was designing the house, but her husband actually is one of the richest men in Italy, and that seems interesting, seeing as that Nicole Junkermann is also like married to one of the richest men in Italy, the API oil baron Ferdinando Bracetti Peretti, who then is linked up to this guy as well. So they've got like there's an Italian clique behind the scene of the big families as well. Thomas Pritzker there. Everybody likes to shout Pritzker's name. I hope that's not David Jerome Putnam. I don't think it is, but I hope it's not. Otherwise, he's in trouble. I can't wait to tell him that someone with a name similar to his, is just an extra T, is actually in this. Nick Pritzker. Of course, these guys are rich guys. Go back to the chat a sec and just check. See what anybody else is saying. Okay. Kennedy family. I've never trusted the Kennedys. That's where we were. No good Kennedys. Ooh, including the dead Kennedys. Ooh. Yeah, well, not after the vaccine. The bloody dead Kennedys. Jello Biafra just said it out. That's the Biafra selling out. That's terrible. I have never trusted the Kennedys. Kennedy family has a title of most known lobotomy of a loved one. Wow. RFK Jr. is also on a video saying people who go against climate change should be jailed. Dude's obvious optomy. Yeah, same here. Tried to comment on Godala's YouTube, but strangely blocked. Can you ask if they do X? Seems well informed. Yeah, she's on X. Lovely lady. I noticed on that break-in video of the Bohemian Grove, the walk in Kula looked more like a morgue. Yeah, wow. Dual purpose, ice cream and dead bodies, who knows? Kennedy family, Irish mafia involved in trafficking and prohibition, yes. Totally JV. Okay, I can't remember what I was saying. Evelyn, Jacqueline, even Jacqueline, was in the circle. Yes. She did not like Martin Luther King. She said he was a disgusting man. Musk was code pirate for Microsoft. Yes, that's what he tries to say, but this was during and only afterwards, not advertising it anywhere, not mentioning it until after he had been sort of discovered as having a bit of a a touch of Microsoft about his past. And I wonder, because Bill Gates went through the Global Leaders for Tomorrow in 1993, that was afterwards he went back, made loads of Microsoft Young Global Leader programs. And I wonder if Musk was involved in one of those. And the fact he went on Rogan cracks me up. People aren't seeing that what Rogan is when he receives funding from Tesla, 23andMe, and the fucking Rockefellers for FFS. Yes, indeed. But we all know if you get paid $100 million contract, you've got to be like agreeing to some terms, haven't you? Big terms. Then the daughters are very attractive young women. That's how families remain big, having very attractive daughters. Speaking of 23andMe, CEO Susan has a sister named Anne who headed 23andMe. She did $1 billion biometric deal with Richard Branson. That might be the reason YouTube censors these topics. Yes. Is Charles Bronfman on the list? Well, yes, Edgar Bronfman is. We will get up there now. People running it have business deals with people tied to the perverts. Yeah. Rupert Soames got an OBE. Yes, he did. So it was Nicholas Soames is the Lord, one of them, or Sir Knighted. Which one? Oh no, he's an OBE is Knighted, isn't it? Yes. So he's a Sir Nicholas Holmes, and one of them's a Lord, I think. I think that's the way it goes. Anyway, they're up there. They're related to Winston Churchill. They'll never be forgotten. I knew Maria Shriver looks like a witch. Shriver is Kennedy family. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Oh, of course she is. That's right. I've heard her name. Arnold Schwarzenegger's ex-wife. Churchill, the coward who would sneak out of Downing Street to go hide in Hereford. Yeah, Lord Hereford's Knob, which is a hill near Hereford, I believe. Shriver's a Kennedy. It's a customer list. Yes, it is. Shriver is as gross as Arnie. Carol Radziwill is Jackie Kennedy and that's his sister. Oh, there you go. Or niece. God, you know it all, Amy. Schwarzenegger. Ooh, I'm not sure you're allowed to say that, Ellen. Even if it is all in one word, I think you might have got me banned for the rest of my life. Oh. I'll say Schwarzenegger. There you go. Let's meet in the middle. Here's a creator of nanotech vaccine named Richard Rothschild. there's a creator of a nanotech. I like that. She's one of a goodie, because that's probably him, a Rothschild who's into nanotech. Epstein would have loved him. She's one of the goody two-shoes from the 70s. Yep. Ooh, there's quite a few comments still. Richard Rothschild is listed as inventor a monitoring system, not the vaccine. Ooh, that's interesting. A monitoring system, though. Ever run across Abbott or Gimbal? No. Right, okay. I'm going to have to skip over a couple of these. Musk has a strange childhood, something not right there. Yeah, honestly, my news hounds on that. I got two of them about Musk's parents and Musk's siblings. It's very interesting. Musk is sus as fuck. Of course he is, yeah. Intel is heavy. Mossad tied. Your thoughts on Microsoft being? Intel, well, of course, Microsoft is down with the globalist system, down with the structure. Ripper Jack Media, good evening, Johnny. Good evening, Ripper Jack, who's been out there trying to get me some form of appearances on some bigger podcasts as well. He's a very nice guy. I really appreciate your work. Do you have a membership plan set up? Not yet. Sorry, I'm trying to map out exactly what I'm going to promise to people so I don't underdo people or not give people out what I promise. So I am making a membership plan, and we'll that'll be going very soon. I want to also create a load of special content just for members as well. So that might take me a month or so, but then I'll have it done. Musk's mum is quite odd. Yes, May Musk. She used to market chips called Alestra that would make you poo yourself. That's the type of marketing. You got to be a good marketer for that sort of thing. Starting to think that that they all have three sides covered: Democrats, Republicans, and other boxes in respect to RFK Jr. Yes, and in respect to other people like Gwendolyn Beck, who probably comes up in this book and was a libertarian independent candidate back in the day and hanging around with Epstein all the time. Okay, we close to the end. Yes, close to the end of that. But that is a very interesting one. They do have it all tied up. You're right. The Terminator is a close friend of the Rothschild. I love your balls in my what? No. Tara, thank you. I love your balls in my you know what. What a beautiful sentence. Poetic. I love it. I always love a little poetry. Thank you, Tara. Thank you for that. Musk was the Grimes. Globalist weirdo. Yes. When you dig deep enough, you realize Microsoft is merely a branch of DARPA. Yes. Uh-oh. Did anyone else hear that strange sound and glitch? Uh-oh. Write a book. Yes, I will. I'm surprised we're still here. Okay, right. Let's get through some more of this before they bloody have us. Charles Price a second. Let's go through some more of this stuff. Let's have a little see what else we got as we go through the last of the books. We'll do this all in one, and then I'll end it up. I did promise you only 15 minutes, and then it's gone on a little bit longer. Perelman, again, a lot of these are names that you won't know, like who's Tito Padrini? Well, I bet you he's got links to the rich aristocracy in Italy. Olivia and Alice Picasso, I wonder who they're related to. A lot of these people are going to be like high up people in different countries and not just in America or Britain. Joel Pashkow, extremely important. Pashkow, I believe he was the one who was basically involved in as an authority figure within Palm Beach. And that meant Epstein kept him very close. He also, I believe, I can't quite remember. Maybe Pashkow's got some other relation. Maybe he was on the Lolita. I can't remember. But I remember Pashkow being quite important. That's a shame I can't remember Pashkow. Christina Oxenberg, another one who went out with Prince Andrew within this list. That's the third we've come across who went out with Prince Andrew before he got married to Fergie. I wonder if Oppenheim is any relationship to anybody big. I bet they are. Like I say, there's lots of obviously Jewish names in this because this is the financial district in New York. There's lots of Jewish people around there. O'Donnell. We'll skip through some of this. Like I say, a lot of this is going to be fairly quick because we just don't know who these people are because you have to go. Andrew Neil. Andrew Neil is a journalist in the UK. He's worked for Ebony, BBC, everybody. Was he the head of Times newspaper once upon a time? The editor of Times newspaper? I think it was Times. He might have had something to do with The Spectator as well, if I remember correctly. Very famous British commentator. Not surprised to see him in there. He's never been questioned about why he's in there. That's interesting. Very interesting. I think I might send him a couple of tweets maybe and say, what's going on with you? A load of other people. Ooh, Rupert Murdoch's there, of course, hanging around. Load of other people, like say, president of RD Assets Management. We'll skip through some of this now. Look, just scanning through Metcalf, Moncando, McLean, Todd Meister, Mayhew, Mr. John Mayhew. So some of these names ring bells as maybe they're in the British elite aristocracy or politicians. A lot of politicians, MPs and stuff were in here as well. So a lot of these names are people who were members of Parliament at the time or members of the House of Lords in the UK. Now look at this. What have we got? Kevin Maxwell and Pandora. That's a Kevin and Pandora Maxwell. That her name's Pandora is unbelievable, and there's so many jokes in there. Ian and Tara Maxwell, E. Maxwell, Mrs. Philip Maxwell, Debbie Maxwell, Marlene and Christine Maxwell, Anne Maxwell. Yes, the Maxwell family have a big contingent in there, and of course, all of them are linked in with intelligence. Parisi Massimo. We got some more here. I think the Perettis are in here as well. So Nicole Youngkerman's husband. Look, there you go. Come up in the recent drop. Peter Mandelson. Got lots of numbers for him. Like some people say in the chat, questioning whether the whole if Mandelson is related to Jeffrey Epstein doing anything with young boys or trafficking young boys, and just don't know, because everybody knows that Mandelson, he's supposedly into them younger. One of the ones that is squared, look at that round there. One of the ones that has got a square round was Courtney Love. That's very interesting, I find, especially when we're looking at intelligence linked people, and Kurt Cobain was so tragically slain under such weird circumstances with so much suspicion around. Just want to say that. Just want to say, because they did not want someone like Kurt Cobain existing, really, because Kurt Cobain was just an authority beater. Everything he said was the thing you're not supposed to say to authority. That was his entire life. He was a fantastically interesting person. I also don't trust Dave Grohl as far as I can throw him. I think he is an asset of some kind, and I do not like him at all. Not one bit. So, here as well, Philip Levine. Again, we're going to go through Lemarc, Le Bon. Ooh, Simon Le Bon. Simon and Jasmine Le Bon are in there. That's interesting. So, few musicians famous. Christopher Lambert. Oh, Conor McLeod, the Can McLeod himself from Highlander. One of my favorite movies of all time. Will always be one of my favorite movies of all time. I would think he would have hung around in the New York community quite a lot, so not surprised to see him in there. La Dalama. Is that Dalama La? Or is that the Dalai Lama? Who knows? Who we got here? We got some other. Oh, big name over there, people. Mr. Henry Kissinger himself and David Koch himself. So Koch and Kissinger both there, of course. And we're nearly there now. We're nearly through. We're hitting the Kennedys. Oh, look, Bobby and Mary Kennedy. When I asked a poll, who did not appear in this is before Robert F. Kennedy made his Zionist comments. I asked who didn't appear on in Jeffrey Epstein's Little Black Book. Was it Donald Trump? Was it Robert F. Kennedy? Was it Joe Biden or someone else? I can't remember who the other person I said who is in the book. And everybody went with Robert F. Kennedy, because and I was really interested to see this, because I'm not a fan of Robert F. Kennedy, and everybody was pushing Robert F. Kennedy on the independent media at the time. So all the people automatically thought, oh, he must be our friend, so he could be him. But it was definitely him. He was actually probably with Epstein more than all of the people I mentioned, including Trump, because Robert F. Kennedy knew him for quite a long time, and when Trump let him go, Robert F. Kennedy was still hanging around with Ghislaine Maxwell in 2016, 2017. So it's not like they let him go. He still hung around. So the Kennedys, Ted Kennedy's up there. Of course, the Kennedys are going to be around. Who else we got? We're moving up, and this is really the list. What we're doing is really looking through the list. We're looking through the list of people associated with Jeffrey Epstein, really in there. And Nick Jarecki, he's pretty famous. Ooh, some film industry. I tell you, some of these I'd love to look into further. Really interesting people. But this is a list of people. This is they're asking all the time. People asking for the list. You give them the list and they go, oh, I don't want to read it. I don't want to actually look at the names and try and have to work out what they mean. Tell it, feed it into my brain like it is some sort of mental gruel. Mick Jagger in there, not at all surprised, seeing as he's so suspect. And as well, I think Mick Jagger like feels establishment. To me, he was accepted by the establishment to be the voice of the establishment, but I don't trust any of it. Gordon Hunter, Liz Hurley there, again, another in the entertainment industry during that time, so they kept a lot of those people around. And some people may be screaming out a name or two here in the chat. They're like, I know who that is. But Heseltine, I wonder if that, Mr. and Mrs. Heseltine, I would think. That's Michael Heseltine, the politician, the famous UK politician. Bob Hefner III. Who else have we got? Hetty Hoffman. There's a few Hoffmans in here. Victoria Harvey. No, that's not Victoria Hervey, is it? No. But anyway, because Lady Victoria Hervey is very against. Now, Claire Hazel, Lady Ivy, I told you that she's become Lady Ivy. Now, she's listed here. And in the Flight Manifest, she's still Claire Hazel. She becomes Lady Ivy when she marries into the Guinness family. She gets made, I think it's her that gets made like the head of some child charity against child smuggling and trafficking, and had to stand down because of obvious and clear links. All of these charities have these people right at the top. All these people, all of them. Marie Habsburg, she's got to be of the Habsburg family, surely. Otto van Habsburg. Oh no, is that Habsburg or Habsburg? I think that's Habsburg. Anyway, well, names. Guinness family, again, another Irish family who gets a lot of attention in these circles. Guggenheim. You see that these are some of the most richest people around. Lots of Italian names. Again, those Italian names are really important. Once we realize how important, you'll see that there's a whole secret society element, a Knights of Malta element hidden behind. Yes, that's what I said, Knights of Malta element. So Ted Griffin, Juliette Gore, Steve Gottlieb. I don't see Al Gore there. He'd already broken some links, but Al Gore had already lost the election, so maybe it's not worth having him around. Ginsburg, I wonder if there's any relation to Alan. And we are nearly there. We are in the G's now. We're in the Gearys, we're in the Gaspers, we're in the Furstenberg, we're in the Frosts, we're in the Fullhurst, we're in the Gallmans. And as you see, there's loads, isn't there? This is why lists, what good will a list do you unless it tells you what each of these people do? Vice chairman of Forbes magazine there, Chris Forbes. So at least we get some sort of understanding of this. Ford Models, Katie Ford of Ford Models. With how high up she is, I would think she's probably pretty important. Dan Fisher, Finch, Fergamo, Martin Fiennes, again, people who Rafe Fiennes is there, so the Oscar winner by that point. I think by that point he'd already won the Oscar for what's that movie? The one that was about actually Monsanto, I think it was, poisoning things, dropping poison stuff in Africa, and someone revealing it and then getting killed for revealing it. Faber, Sally and Brooke and Johnson Faber. I wonder if any of these are related to Faber-Castell, who Nicole Junkerman was going out with one of the Faber-Castells. For Angie Everhart, I've heard of her name over and over again. People screaming it. And we are really close to the end now. We are really close. We're on the E's, and we're just going to skip through some of these. Skip through some of these unknowns. Look at these unknowns. Again, some of these are like Philip and Dominica Dunn. Philip Dunn was an MP at the time in Ludlow, MP for Ludlow, maybe it was in the UK. God. And there's the Duke of York, Prince Andrew, Buckingham Palace, the Duchess of York. Peter Dubin, so the above is going to be the Dubins. So Glenn Dubin, Ava Dubin, Tiffany and Louise Dubin, Anthony Dubin, Minnie Driver, comes up there. Amazing, no one's asked her about any of this either. Dr. Ellie Weissel. Why does that name come up? Isn't that someone who tweets a lot about? I'm interested to look into that. Anyway, right. Del Bono. There'll be lots of Italian sounding names coming up in the D section. Again, Fernando de Soto comes up. And we're nearly there. Darren Drake, Sophie Dahl, another one who's big on the scene, especially New York scene during the early noughties. All of these should be on the list. All of these guys should be on a long list with a description of what they do and how they do it. And we're nearly at the end. Yeah, I am going to skip through some of these. And a lot of these, again, you'll look at them, you'll be like, who are these? They sound very Italian, don't they? All of this, Gianluca Vecchione and Marina Chionna, and all of these guys are high up Italian families. If you check them out, I'm pretty positive they will be. Mark Cecil, important in Britain. Michael Cavallo, I wonder if he's any relation to Alex de Cavallo, who was in business with Younkerman at one point. Like I say, you're skimming through these and you're seeing big names all over the place, but we don't know why they're big. This is a good one. Okay, there you go. Jean-Luc Brunel is there, so very important in the Epstein enterprise. We're right at the end of this now. Edgar Bronfman, again, like I say, Edgar Bronfman Jr. Charles Bronfman would have been dead probably by this point, and the other Charles Bronfman wouldn't have been big, but Edgar Bronfman had already basically lost to Seagram's fortune by this point that he's been included in this. But I study there's I mentioned a couple of times 1984 QE2 party with people like Gloria Steinem and Stan Pottinger turning up. That was organized by Edgar Bronfman, and I think that would have had Epstein at as well. Like finding the pictures for parties like that would be amazing. Flavio Briatore, really important. Is Flavio Briatore the one who was a Formula One and into Formula was really big at Formula One? Also got lots of trouble. He was ahead of Fiat for Formula One, if I remember correctly. And both Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell hung around one of those circles because it was where the elites hung out. Now, look at this. Come on, look at this. B page is massive. The Richard Branson's there. Really important. Come up loads about that. Really interesting. Bracetti, Ugo Bracetti and Ferdinando Bracetti-Peretti. This is Nicole Younkerman's husband and her brother-in-law. So these are the heads of API Oil in Italy, which is the biggest oil firm in Italy and makes a hell of a lot of money. So you can see these pages are full of people. If you know who they are, you know how powerful they are. And they are pretty powerful. Like David Blaine's pretty powerful, and Tony Blair's pretty powerful, and Mike Bloomberg is pretty powerful, and Conrad Black was pretty powerful, wasn't he? These are really extremely powerful people. Hardly any of them have had their day in the papers, and that's what they're doing now. When they leak out perfect, they say, "Oh, Noam Chomsky was on the list." Well, they can do that about all of these people. They can each go in turn and embarrass them one by one, and it ignores the real fact that real things are still happening that are affected by this case. Von Bismarck. That's brilliant. The Bismarck family's in there, of course. Why not? Why not have the Bismarck family in there? Doug Band, really important officer. William J. Clinton, of course. He's hanging around with Clinton a lot. One of the things I find interesting when I mentioned Bracetti-Peretti, Ugo and Ferdinando, the brothers, you see them turning up to meetings where Steve Bannon is speaking in Italy. So they're obviously linked in with the American state in some way. Balliol College, that's a really important place, Balliol College. Lots of very important people went there. Good to know who's there and who's coming through. One of the people who I love most from there is, of course, is Howard Marks, the amazing drug smuggler, weed smuggler, only weed from the past. Sir Anthony Bamford and Lady Bamford, of course, the Bamfords are in there. And we're right at the end now. Right at the end. Danny Baker. I wonder if that's Danny Baker the comedian. That would be amazing if it's Danny Baker the comedian. And we're really, this is the last page. Here we go. And there you go. We're up at the last page, and there's basically not much there. And I can already, hoi! Oop, I accidentally went to close it. Let's not do that quite yet. Let's just remove that and go back up. So I went over time, people, by half an hour. Sorry, this was a long one. I'm just going to read out the last bits of what was said there. See what we got. Thanks for sticking by, having a watch of this. Must Mummy is quite odd. Yeah, I got to that. When you dig deep enough, yeah, we a bunch of DARPA, yes. And there you go. We were around by here. Excellent. That sounds good plan. We really need to support people like Johnny Vedmore who investigate the world of craziness and corruption and tell the truth. Stay safe, Johnny. Stay safe too, Ripperjack. Thanks for popping by. Here we go. What is that weird sound? Is there a weird sound? Oh, I'm not sure what the weird sound is. Might be my cat, because my cat was sitting right next to me at the time and she was purring, so it might be my cat. I'm so glad to finally catch you live. Thank you, Farm Wife, for coming and bothering. Love it. I so appreciate the work you do. All my love. Thanks for coming along. Random mention, did you know that Jimmy Savile was friends with Freemason serial killer Yorkshire Ripper? Yes, I did. He actually introduced Frank Bruno, the famous boxer, to them. There's a picture of the three standing together. He was an evil man. Savile was an evil man, and the Ripper was an evil man. Every time I try and use an emoji in my stream freezes, don't do it then. Just don't do it. Neckbeard Prime says, the entries that are without surnames, such as Robin, are interesting. Oh, as it implies familiarity. That is a good point, and it's something that I should look up to. Looking out for those type of that's from Neckbeard Prime. Looking out for that type of stuff. It's like I said earlier about the flight manifest, where you're noting when he flew on the plane with someone else who's outside his entourage. You're looking for when the pattern breaks. That's when things get important and when you find the interesting stuff. So that is true. The familiarity breeds contempt or whatever. You connected him with Junkman last night, that Pashkow guy. Okay, right. Pashkow guy, okay. Before he was unable to sweat. Yeah, you're talking about. Yeah, you went out with all these girls before he swore was a big sweaty Betty. That's good. Did you know Queen Elizabeth's army pilot was a serial killer named Russell Williams, who was college drinking pals with Freemason killer Paul Bernardo, who wrote a book about. That's beautiful. I love those sort of connections. You should just send me loads of stuff, and I just keep looking. Oxenberg, oh my God, was on a movie set with her. Yeah, she wanted the scene, one of the guys who hung around in that scene, for sure. The book is called A Mad World. It's about future super surveillance and Russia's rise to being the top superpower. American Wet Dream. Oh, well, Huxley here. Hello, friends. Nice to see you here. One of my main buddies, that's for sure. Carte Glass, so we got it all. Oh, nice. Hey, Hux. Yeah, Hux is important. Agreed, Foo Fighters can do one. Yes, they can. Never trusted them at the start. Trust them even less when they start trying to kill me. Didn't Courtney Love's father had ties to the band Grateful Dead, whom band was used for psychedelic side MK Ultra studies? Not surprised about that, because if you ever heard Anthem of the Sun while on psychedelics, you'll know fully well that, oh my God, it's just not like normal music. The Grateful Dead were very good at being off there. There was lots. It would be a good place to hang out and study people on psychedelics, because everybody was on psychedelics. Once you listen to Grateful Dead on psychedelics, you're in heaven. Hello, Orwell Huxley. Yes. Before he died, Courtney hired a private investigator, and he believes that Courtney was involved. Yeah. Courtney Love's father was some kind of rock promoter with Don Kirshner. Not surprised. I knew Biden wouldn't be in it too easy. Compromise him via Hunter. Yeah. I think Hunter did the same sort of thing, but as Epstein did, but elsewhere. Ellen says it best herself. The death and burial and retrial of Eric. Okay, right. Yeah, read that, Desert Rain. The death and burial and reburial of RFK Jr.'s first wife was suspicious. Yeah, I don't trust that story at all. Extremely depressed, they say, and a lot of other things. I think she had seen a lot that she didn't want to see, and she turned to drink, and that led them. As an excuse, a very sad story. Very sad story. And there's a very good documentary about it. Okay. Then Courtney copyrighted all of his music. Boom, boom. Listen, man, girls can grab your heart, completely grab your heart, take everything from you. Boys can grab your heart, completely grab your heart, take everything from you. Got to be careful in relationships. This was very good. People have these weird attachments to these certain figures, and they're writing on this wall with the cabinets and the business partners, let alone their blackmail ties. Rain Man. Oh, hi, found it. Look, there's hiya, MTL, Momzilla, hiya. Everybody's here. Yes, she made it. She's a Sicilian Habsburg, I think, Marie. Ooh, that's interesting. A Sicilian Habsburg. The worst type of Habsburg. The CIA was traditionally used entertainers as operatives. Not surprising at all. Mick Jagger was the last one alone with Jimi Hendrix. Oh, that's such a shame. You should never have told me that. That's going to make me sad forever. The Guinness family is as dark as their stout, my friends. Don't you know it? One of my best childhood friends, one of the people who, he was a little bit older than me. He was a naughty boy. I mean, I could tell you some stories about him. Wedgie, we used to call him, from Pembrokeshire. He married into the Guinness family, and I could tell you some stories about him. He was wild, and it was like obvious that, okay, of course he married into the Guinness family. He's wild. I was totally confused. It wasn't on NEWSPASTE, and it's not a space. Was expecting a space. Damn, I thought I put it on the front cover of NEWSPASTE. I thought it was on there. Maybe I didn't save it. Oh, well. The Hortville, also either France or Sicily. Habsburg probably gifted Zorro Ranch plaques from the 1600s. Ooh, that's interesting. Yes, too true. Old banking dynasty, yes. I'm not sure if Maria or Sophia, but one of them, a model-esque looking woman as well. I'm not sure what you mean there. Andrew Gilligan, he was a BBC journo. Yeah, people saying hi. English Patient, yes, of course it was. English Patient was the one with Ralph Fiennes in, that was about, I think it was it Moderna, or was it based on GlaxoSmithKline, or was it with the one I said earlier, Monsanto? It was one of them that was based on a true story, The English Patient. It was something we should read and see in fact form rather than fiction. Yes, Jagger had tied to the upper process of the Final Judgment government cult. One of the top guys, Kenneth Anger, let Manson member Bobby Buslero live with him. Again, my Dana Doodah, my favorite rotten jewel. She's the one who tells me all of that stuff. I have Johnny on notice and on X, and somehow I missed when this started. Quite disappointing. Oh, sorry. Should have told you. Did I mention in the room? Oh God, I probably didn't. I'm sorry. A lot of the Norman nobles from Italy and Sicily, yes. Oh my God, it's unbelievable. Naomi Campbell should be asked about what she did for these people. Yes, but she won't. She did a lot of crazy things. You remember the story Naomi Campbell saying about the blood diamond with the guy, I think he was the head of Sierra Leone or something like this, and she had to go to court and it was all really weird. I think that sounds like an intelligence operation. I think she worked intelligence because she could get into people's bedrooms. That's what they wanted. Have you connected any to flying into New Mexico? I haven't really looked at the New Mexico flights properly. It'd be really interesting to do that and see what we can note from it. I wouldn't mind doing something like that with Ian Carroll. I tried to tell Ian Carroll, who's a very good researcher, very lively, very energetic, that we should do something like that. Jimmy Buffett, yeah. I'm not sure. Glad you brought up Naomi because she's the reason I know Rogan planned other than his Rockefeller funding. Let me describe my finds. Okay. God, I love how the chat's going here. Really glad to see you all having a good natter about stuff. You can see the horns on Branson's forehead. Yes, you can. I know Sophie Dahl, her grandma was Patricia O'Neill. Brunel and Naomi were tight as thieves, thick as thieves. He made the whole events for her in Miami. I think hence why the mention triggered me. Yeah, okay, that's really interesting. Really interesting. Again, follow Momzilla over on Twitter too. I mean, really brilliant. So Rogan tells a story about being invited to an Eyes Wide Shut party via Deja. Hell, bloody hell. At Naomi's ex-billionaire boyfriend's mansion. That boyfriend is Vladislav Doronin. His mentor was Ed Tuttle, who designed. Oh, don't leave us there. What did he design? Epstein's Temple. Bomb, bomb, bomb. Oh, you are coming out with some strong stuff with Steel Play-Doh Snakes. You come out with some strong stuff in this setting. Mr. Nice, yes, talking about Howard Marks, the man who went to Balliol College, indeed, Mr. Nice. I met him, actually, Howard Marks. I met him in Cardiff, walked past him. I was with my monkey, my best friend, and we were coming back from the work. I saw him, and I was just like, it's one of only 3 times where I've got down on one knee. And I said, I loved you. I love you, Mr. Marks. I love you. What you done? I love you. He's nice. He's down the road from me as well. Be worth getting a microphone on the red carpet. See if the actors want to step outside and get some. Oh yes. This guy who financed Bismarck wrote a book called I Paid Hitler. Okay, I'm going to skip a couple of. She's probably at the fight now. All good. Blah 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 blah. There's a great video dig on Rogan by Matthew North. Oh, that's interesting. I'd be interested in look at that. It's moving fast now, though. This. Thank you for sharing all this information with us. Bless you. No, bless you, Alice. Thank you for coming along and being part of it. You know, I've been lonely over here, and look at all of you guys now joining. It's really nice because I really love it. Really love it. I've got that vid archived in a playlist called New Laurel Canyon. Matt North was so good. Miss that kid. Have you on notifications on X and still didn't see when you went live and caught the tail end? I know. What can you do? What can you do? Maybe they're sealing me up again after letting me out on the big stage. She's an anti-vaxxer and was in the film industry. Do you follow Matt's friend Brisson? He has great work too. I'm glad you're passing across this work, and I hope it gets back to me. We're coming up to the end of this. Obviously, lots of people talking about what they are on and what they're not on, and who's who. Let us know if you're ever in Wiltshire. Oh, Carter Glass, cup of tea in a zoot, bro. 100%. Give me a private message at some point. Wiltshire is like 100 miles away from me. depending on which part of Wiltshire you're from, where around like Salisbury where you're from. Be happy to come down and have a cup of tea sometime. Me and the man Monkey, who's my brother from another mother. If we're ever down that way, we'll always look out for a cup of tea. We're tea fiends. Excellent. We definitely should get a Telegram channel for this investigation. No, mate, it was an Anthony Minghella love story. Ralph Fiennes' film. You mean The Constant Gardener, not The English Patient. Yes. Oh, was it? Yeah, The English Patient was the one where he forgot his member, and The Constant Gardener was the one where he dies at the end. It's very good. The Constant Gardener is very good. It's very well done. I might actually watch it sometime in the next few days. Isn't that? Let's read the documents. Yeah, Johnny, get a Telegram first. Yeah, it would probably be a very good idea. Right. Hey, you, gang. That's what let's see the last thing. Great stream and chat. Stay safe, everyone. Hey, Neckbeard Prime, thank you for your donation today. I mean, you're keeping me in biscuits. You're keeping me alive. I really mean that. Bad times, like hard times, Christmas especially. I thought that there was times where there's times where I've just had to look under the bed, try and scrape some money together and go down the shop. So actually be able to buy some bread or something. So that was really, really, really nice of you. Thank you very much for your help. Thank you to everybody who's joined. Did you know that there's a Parkland parents with ties to Clinton's Haiti orphanages? Not surprised there. Right. So thank you on all platforms, all of you guys, for interacting, sitting through this with me. I wanted to go through the flight logs a little bit and the phone book, partly because anybody who watches this could be potentially intrigued by or interested in, how do I do this myself? How do I go and learn all this stuff myself? Well, I don't know. Once you look at the flight logs, once you look at the address book, you start to notice these little details that we talk about in the chat, and they'll be able to say, well, who is that person? And that one bit of one question can lead you down a rabbit hole. All of these places, rabbit holes, rabbit holes, rabbit holes. And once you go down a rabbit hole, you'll come out one day as a journalist if you're not careful, because that's how all of us start. We start off by being intrigued. And I don't want to keep all of this information to myself. A lot of people is like, oh, this is all mine. I researched it, so I'm the expert on this, and no one else can touch it. I want everybody to be involved, because when everybody's involved, they come to me and they say, oh, did you know this? And did you know this? And I go, no, I didn't. And that makes sense now over here with this and this and this and that, etc., etc. So it's like, for us to go through this, it's partly a thought experiment on how we can work out the links. And in the chat here, what I'm seeing is a load of people who are saying, oh yeah, but did you know who this person is? And did you know who this person is? And did you know who this person is? And this is all recorded in various places. So people who come after us, people who want to know the truth, people who are fed up of just reading the rags, or not, who haven't found people like us yet, when they find us and they find this, it becomes a resource. It becomes a mini resource that if you think even just slightly outside the box, what you can do is understand how to use this to find more information, spread out more information. Everybody gets to know what's going on. So it's been a long one. Listen, some of you have stayed on 2 hours and 50 minutes. I really didn't mean it to be that long. It's always a risk. So listen, thanks, gang. Thanks. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate the fact that you're with me. And I will play out with a tune. Dear ladies and gentlemen, you can like, share, subscribe, donate on newspaste.com or anywhere else. I am here doing live streams now more regularly. I'll try and set it up so that you'll know when they'll be, and they'll be more structured. Until then. Look at that. Thank you, people.